I don't think Armor has sockets anymore, does it? Meow. Cat. Kitty. Okay. Sell some jewels. So seems like I'm able to make money making purple rings. So I'm gonna continue to do that. What? Oh, they're down. 7. 9 a.m. Pacific to Eastern.
12 p.m. Tuesday in Eastern Time.
30 minutes left. It's not that bad. Alright, preloaded. Damn, they're really patching today. All right. Where'd it go?
Alright, go.
I wonder.
With the submarine. This is the test march. And yeah, they work. Okay, they. Oh my.
Hello?
Oh, they work. Oh, they. Oh. Alright. Dang it, they scratched my paint. That's not gonna come out. Oh.
Space.
Alright, let's spawn in. What is one of the easier ships from the Onyx Watch?
Sea Viper.
Alright.
Onyx Watch.
Yeah, I'm just seeing.
Vanguard.
Onyx
Helix.
Watch.
What was it called?
I'll try this.
Bastion, and
The
Spear.
Bastion, okay.
The
I was-
Bastion and the Spear.
okay, I'm trying the Bastion. See what this. See
The
how.
firepower 4.
Oh
Vaporizer.
boy. Oh wow, you missed.
No.
Oh, and
Yeah.
okay. Okay,
Yep.
yeah. Alright, well, the ship's already dead. Okay, that's kind of quick.
There, my finger.
Your ship or the...
There's. Alright, well, what about the Husk Girl? I don't know what this is, but I'm spawning it in and seeing what happens.
I think I might have to put the gun
What
just
is it?
one higher.
Oh my god, that's a. Oh. That's
It's
a lot. That's a big ship. That's a big ship, but it. Oh, the shells bounce off my ship. Nice. Okay. I'm really not that worried then.
Medium. Wait.
Oh my god, there are so many guns on this. What is this?
More attacker!
Oh my god. Oh, and the torpedoes just annihilated because the whole bottom of the ship's made out of wood. Okay. Oh no, one of my ships is
God
my
damn it.
AA ship is not faring too well. Oh, that's a lot of holes. Does this thing have torpedoes, or did literally a main cannon just hit the bottom of my ship?
more holes.
Why are all my ships leaning? They don't even have holes in them. I think that's a good thing that my ships are doing barrel rolls.
Moving out.
What's this one's not dead yet? That's great. Oh, and it's dead. Let's go. We won. I don't know how to make my ship float because it won't stay up. It keeps tipping over to the left and the right. I need like buoys on the side of my ship.
Exploded something?
Fire!
I tried using what's it called to make the
Ship
ship
right.
flat, roll propellers, but those kept making the ship like go left and right constantly. Like they kept bobbing more.
For now, I've only done 3 volleys, I think.
Excellent. Apparently, the game is broken and does not permit more than 2,000 of ammo access per minute.
Nice.
Yeah.
It hit? Yeah. There you go.
Alright, let's put in. I'm gonna respawn this ship then.
Yeah, let's
Hitting it. I
Perfect.
believe.
Alright.
Okay, hello.
You guys.
yeah,
You're
that's
welcome.
like
ZX, why are you
Yeah.
looking
Fuck.
at the stream, man?
Me?
Yeah, man. Why are you looking at the stream?
I don't know. I
Okay,
just
this is a
put it
very
like,
stupid
oh,
idea, but I'm going to
looking at
Godly.
everyone's
I'm gonna
stream.
see if one of my ships can
Yeah,
take
but
on
if
a
you keep
Godly.
staring at me, you know what's gonna happen, right?
Hmm?
Yeah.
How hard is the bulwark, if I must ask?
What the fuck? I'm
I
pretty
think
high
I'll
up in the
be able to
air.
go against that, but I kind of want to try. Huh, I
Bulwark,
actually know.
Get ready.
the bulwark is a bad idea.
Where are... I want planes. Who has decent planes to go against?
Scarlet Dawn.
I would say Steel Striders actually.
Alright, let's see what they have.
The Mobulus is really strong. It's probably the strongest plane on the Steel Striders. It's godly.
And I don't see planes. It says no planes.
Really?
Oh, is it a thrustercraft?
Yeah, Starcraft.
Oh, okay. The Eerie. Alright, let's spawn this thing in. I'm kind of nervous. I don't know what this thing's gonna be. It's a
This
holy.
thing is almost down.
What is this? Is the castle? What is this? Okay, no. Shoot it out of the sky. Look it up. Oh my! It's a UFO. What the? Wait, what? Does it have laser? Oh my god, my missiles can't reach it. What is this hologram bullshit? What the? Okay, my front of my ship is it's not feeling so good. Oh no. Oh, no. Oh god, my bridge is gone. I have no detection. My ship has no. Oh, oh no. Oh no, my gun got taken out. Oh no. That's good. Wait, oh no, my anti-air is still up, but I don't think it has any ammo because I just spawned it in. Either that or it's already been taken out. Oh, it's already been taken out. Oh god. Railgun, do your thing! Look it up! Oh no. Haha, yes!
Right.
I'm in its weak oh god. Aha, I'm in its weak spot. It can't aim directly underneath itself. Aha, I win. I hope. Maybe. Oh no. I think we got its anti-missiles, because now it's dying like a little bitch. Oh god. Oh no. Oh no. Oh well, my one ship's completely disarmed at this point. That's probably not that good. Oh, my my first ship's still alive, barely, but it's still alive. Oh no, and I take it back. Oh, I take it so much back. Why does it target everything that's important to me? If it gets in the water, we got it, because I have all my torpedoes are just surrounding it at the bottom at this point.
Yeah, I'm gonna need AA for that.
We need another ship. I'm putting another AA ship in, because it's super cheap, and I probably would have another one by now. Shoot them up. Oh my.
I'd say this mine is distantly.
I don't think my ship is faring so well. I just spawned it in and it's already dying. Oh, yeah.
Oh!
What is it shooting
Oh,
at?
it's falling, I think. Oh my
Hey.
god.
SDX,
Yeah.
have a look at this. Look at this amazing firepower.
Shoot him.
Oh,
Oh no. Oh no, this is not good. Oh no, my
Go up.
my ship's getting hit by my own torpedoes because I can't do anything. Just
So
hurt-
yes, basically the mission to create anti-ship minigun is success.
Yeah.
Anti-op.
What if it turned blue up? Oh yes.
This is the
Tough cookie.
this is the anti
Need more.
gun thought.
We need more anti. Oh yes.
Anti.
Let's have a leak.
Anti.
No.
Anti-hentai.
Anti everything.
Activate.
Someone said hentai?
Anti.
Is that
Yes.
right?
Okay. The ship tried to aim, and it's still trying.
Oh my god! Why does the first volley of their shells always hit the one thing that I need?
Because that's how targeting works.
I
Yes,
didn't know that.
the
Come
AI
on.
started firing.
Please die already!
God have mercy on that thing.
You tough cookie! I will spawn it. I have an idea. I'm gonna spawn a ship inside of it. Wanna see?
This is a machine, not a thing.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Yes! Hit it!
Hooray!
Oh, I missed it.
It's a
It's gonna
freaking
hit.
rain of bullets.
Holy shit.
Oh god. Oh,
It's
yes.
gonna hit. Holy
Get it.
shit. Damn,
Got
that
it.
My
thing
engine
actually
went.
does a lot of damage.
Yes, it is that.
Hit it.
Why
No!
are you dead?
Oh god. Guys, just go on my stream quickly.
Engine. Why? Why are you doing it?
I'm very interested on what's gonna happen when my ship blows up. Or when this blows up. Because it's right in the middle of it. Alright, 3, 2, 1. Oh god. Oh god, my game's chugging. Oh, it's chugging. Oh, it's turning. Oh no. Oh my god, the ship is. Oh. I think I saw it in half. I think I saw the ship in
It needs
half.
to be wider.
Oh my, oh wait, I ammo racked myself. My ship ammo rack. Oh, that explains it. Oh,
I wonder.
if I'm gonna
Is
be
that
honest with
thing-
you, my ship got cut clean in half too. It was a clean cut right through the middle. I think I got the engine. Either that or the ship is currently having a stroke because it's falling out of the sky very majestically.
Hooray! The strategy of more bullets is actually working.
Oh yes, it's in the water now. There's blood in the water.
It's a submarine, actually. Surprising.
Yellow
Oh.
submarine.
Oh, now here come the torpedoes that have been.
Let's,
That'd
let's
been
spawn
lucky.
something that's on water.
Here comes the torpedoes. Holy shit! There's so many of them.
We need some more.
Yeah.
Oh my god. It's this blood in the water. There's nothing they can do about it.
Just save.
4 giant cruisers loaded up with Tomahawk missiles just
Save.
unleashing hell upon you.
Oh! Now, this was surprising. Apparently my ship decided to explode. Ooh. Quite violently, to be honest.
Here, in a few minutes I'm gonna have to go because I got my next class. I'm just gonna stop this way. So I can
I'm
work on
currently in a class.
Wait, what?
Alright. So I could ask, what is the best thing for anti-air in this game? Because
Depends on the
made,
distance. Depends on the
But the-
distance.
yeah, I know. Because I made these guns and they're very effective, but the thing is, I don't know really how to use railguns that well. So I probably shouldn't have used railguns, but I did, and it works.
Energy. You need energy and.
No, that's
Yeah.
not the problem. No, that's not the problem. I have the energy. No, the problem is it's not a big enough
Jesus.
magazine. I don't know if I,
Jesus! Alright!
Are they belt fed?
yeah, they're belt fed. Look, they're really compact. all the important stuff's right underneath them.
Excellent.
Do you have all the ammo clips and autoloaders on the bottom of the turret?
I still
Uh,
exploded.
No, they're not explosive because it takes energy. So I just put they're all kinetic energy. Look, it's just a Sabo head with one
Think you can
Sabo
still
warhead
alive?
body and two Sabo
Yeah.
solid
Kind of
warhead
shame.
bodies.
Okay.
Remember the-
That's good. I mean, it'll still help when you're fighting that way. They won't get into your ammo, your autoloaders or your clips until they hit the bottom of your turret.
I want to do a railgun casing. I don't know what it does. What does it do?
It's all usually for railguns. It increases the speed of the shot and the energy
Oh, that'll
cost.
help then a lot.
I would usually do like half casings, half of the shell's casing. That way, or depending on how far you are away from the target.
These railguns are not. The railguns I made shoot very very far.
Not necessarily. They can also fire very close, but very quickly. And very accurately.
It's maximum for gun size in parts.
No, hold on, give me a sec.
What?
Try something. I don't know if it's gonna work, but it might help
They're
me a
gonna hit.
bit. Just to keep my ship a
Yep.
little bit more buoyant. Oh my god, it does. That really helped a lot.
Tight.
Ugh.
Titan's definitely gonna hit mine. I know for sure.
I have returned.
Oh,
Hey, Vanguard.
Hey, what's going on? I'm just making a railgun turret bomber.
Heflock.
Yes?
I try to build something like
What?
for my primary battleship.
Yes? What? What is so funny?
Bigger. Bigger.
Actually, I could add even more. Yes, I can add more firepower to it. Excellent.
oh my god, look at this rail. What is this rail gun? Oh my god.
Oh god.
What
When's
is
the
this?
firepower on those?
What scares me is how many batteries is this gonna take to run.
You could change the energy per shot on the railgun.
I know, what if you just put it at 11 million energy shots? Oh my god. Wait, what is your engine power? Why is it 500? No. Oh my god, what is this game?
Are you talking about mine?
Yeah, you have 511k engine power.
That's easy to get.
Yeah.
but
If you
why
have
do
steam
you-
engine,
Yeah.
Why do you need that much? I never got that.
To shoot the railguns on the bottom because there's 9 of them.
Would anybody like to join me in my in a server to build together?
I have to
Sure.
go
nah.
Vanguard?
Yeah, I'll join.
I gotta go, guys. I'll be back in like an hour or two. I'll see you.
Cheers. No, that wasn't alcohol. Server's up, by the way, if you'd like to join.
What's the name of the server?
Should be way at the bottom. Something about a white fox and coon. Or fox coon.
Password?
1, 2, 3. The most epic of passwords.
Truly.
Yes. So we just found out something interesting about our house.
What?
It has a built-in networking cable.
Yeah?
Cat 6, Cat 5.
Huh?
So that's gonna be fun.
How does that work? Is it just like I don't even know.
The two have different different data transfer standards. Cat 6 is more powerful and is going and would theoretically be used for the Wi-Fi. Cat 5 would be used for everything else.
Why not just use Cat 6 for everything?
More expensive.
Oh, makes sense.
So what are you building?
Space railgun ship. It's basically like the Abaddon the Despoiler, but all the guns are facing downward.
Hmm.
I'll show you what I'm talking about. One sec.
That's Khmer mode. They always do. That's because that's what my meant to do with that. Why, hello and welcome back. Are you here to take over the world too?
Yep.
I mean, what?
Expert.
Yes?
Why?
I am.
Fine.
Oh, you want to join?
Okay.
Hold on.
What's it called?
Say what you're working on?
Me?
Yeah, if you have done anything at all.
Yeah, I'm working on a space railgun
I know
gunship.
what you said. I know what you said you were doing, but I said save what you're working on if you've done anything to it at all.
Yeah, I haven't worked on it yet, so go ahead.
Hop in, Shadow.
What's it called?
Yay.
40K battle fleet gothic boss. I don't know what it's called. Forgot.
You're right. 1 second.
Oh.
What happened? Is the game still up?
I think the game just crashed on me.
Oh, do you want me to host?
Sorry.
No, I got it. It's not your fault.
I I share my page.
I do not have to work today. Yay! Tomorrow's gonna be a bitch. I gotta wake up at 9 o'clock. Or 8 o'clock, really. You know, close enough.
What do you do?
I work at a grocery store.
Yeah, I know the feeling. I was a stalker at Walmart. It's like the front line of COVID.
Actually, no. Stalker would be the last line of COVID.
Well,
Front
yeah,
line. The front line is cashier.
true. Actually,
Server's up.
the front line is nurse, obviously, because they have to deal with the actual infected patients.
Yes.
But as far as
By the way, Shadow, did you notice what I changed my username to? You may be the Black Fox, but I am the White Fox. Waiting for you, Vanguard.
I can crash your game.
Don't.
I only need first upload blueprint for anyone to use or the 44 card.
How many blocks? Stage 2, launching.
Yes. 140,856 blocks.
Please don't load that thing.
Sorry.
You already did, didn't you? Oh, hold on, we gotta restart the server anyway, and you're... We won't be able to do anything otherwise. Sorry.
Oh.
Transfers, what are you spawning? T-Titan. I'm just gonna give you the middle finger right now. Transfer stuck at 50%, so guess what? Don't spawn that thing again. Server's back up.
I think I'm gonna go solo because I want to work on that vehicle I just spawned, and I'm unable to on multiplayer.
We haven't even been on for about a few seconds.
I know, and I don't think any server will actually handle mine.
If it's anything like his ship, no, it's not.
Yeah, exactly.
My largest ship is 64,000 blocks.
Can multiplayer handle it?
Yeah, that large ship, yeah.
Oh, we'll try again.
Too late.
What happened?
Already started.
Next.
Oh.
Next fight.
This is my latest project.
410 millimeter.
Mm-hmm. Welcome to the Amagi with our 16.1 inch gun.
I'll just watch, whatever.
Railgun.
That's in part to save on explosive.
We need iron engines.
No, the railguns are only there to save on explosive potential.
Oh.
Because these guns are so close together, on the sides that these secondaries are so close together that if I had them just sheer gunpowder gun or weapon, if one detonated, you'd have the next, then the next, then the next, then the main gun in the back anyway. So to prevent that, I made them railguns instead. I was smart. For a minute there, that ship was blue.
I don't know why.
And now it's blood red.
At least against the Atlas, it's pretty good. I can say. Against Sign the Atlas.
God damn it! Forgot to do mirror.
The further you get from me, the more likely I am to hit you with my big guns. You're bouncing your shells. Nice to know you're just whipping right over me.
This is the cold Valent. And this
Valiant
thing
or is that repulsing?
it's a little bit broke.
Seems to be rather durable for a tiny little ship. What's her? Oh no, she's not. I
This
gotta-
is
I've already
this-
I've already removed her armor.
this was godly or expert.
You're below the guns right now, so you're bouncing your shell, and now you're losing armor plate. Well, I am just fine.
Wait.
You shoot that turret. Engines ahead flank.
Lag.
Oh,
Pop the barrels off of some of my guns. How dare you?
wait. What happened to the So ammo processors are gone, right?
Yep.
So that
Cyrillic.
how do you increase access capacity just by building more ammo storage?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh.
All engines fell reverse.
Wait, what?
Unfinished, but
Okay.
strong.
She's unfinished, but damn, you did almost nothing with that ship. Ah yes, the bullshit cannon. It fires nothing but bullshit at you. You have a monitor there. Why you do that? Your gun is so inaccurate. It actually took out my cannon without even trying. It has such bad spread that it took out the cannon without even trying.
This is this is a anti-fortress turret.
Yeah, it's not doing much over here. I mean, you detonated one of my guns, I think. Yeah, you detonated one of my guns. Two of them, actually. But not much more than that. Can we build instead of, horse around?
Look.
See, what can I said, I asked you to stop, please.
Yes. This is a really good gun.
I know.
It can, in seconds, basically tear down anything. Beautiful. Until it exploded. Well.
There we go. See, connection points need to be a little bit more rigid. Just gotta be filled in.
Be right back. Gotta go take my dog for a walk. Nobody.
As Dex, you do realize that any hit will basically blow you into pieces.
Yeah, I can
You
hear
have. Yeah.
that. So how should I protect that?
The simplest solution is to add any kind of garbage armor or say trusses before your main armor, just like real era screens, you know, if you have seen them on the tanks, and just hope that the hit will detonate earlier. Then your main armor should, without any sweat, stop the fragments. You got this nice things called this
Like
nice.
some appliques or something like that? Like space
Can you
armor?
please- Yes, yes, because it is space armor in the end. Because this nice thing, you got this nice thing called trusses, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, they are pretty cheap. They have like 35 armor, so they are resilient to kind of small fragmentation, and they do a decent job of getting killed easily. And they're cheap, so yeah.
Open fire on your ship?
So I should put truss along the like where?
That is my suggestion, yes.
Along
Because
the
at least
along-
side, at least along sides of this castle you are building out there.
this structure.
Superstructure, yes.
So I should just put some trusses along the there.
Yeah, something like that. You know, they're easy, cheap. Even if they get killed off, then it means nothing really.
Do you guys like the new heavy armor look?
It looks way better than the old one.
I kind of wish it had the same pattern as the old one, but had the same.
The old one
Material.
was like a bit too space, like sci-fi.
Yeah, good point, actually. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of wish they kind of added like the pattern was cool, like the hex pattern was, with like the material of the new one. That would have been. I like that better. Have you beaten the campaign yet on Godly?
Not even on the easiest.
Yeah, it takes a long time.
I haven't even started because I don't have even a like this is if I finish that ship, this is gonna be my first ship I ever finish.
Oh yeah, I haven't finished one either because I keep patching stuff, so I have to keep changing my old ones.
Let's see what this thing will do. Oh, nice! Nice, indeed.
Where's my seat? Somewhere. Over here. Up here. Right over there. Oh man, this is gonna. Heavy armor all around. There. 2 right there. 3. Right there. I don't need that. Extra layer. And a door. Control. Cool. Control. Door. Decoration. There we go. There we are. Do you guys know the Chaos Planet Killer from Battlefleet Gothic?
Nothing
Uh-huh.
better than derp AI that makes 2 airship collides. Like, you got 2 airships and they collide in the middle of space, because why not?
For what? Oh yeah, the game.
Yeah, right now in game. Two of my aircrafts decided to collide with one another, and they can try. Moment.
Yeah, you gotta set every plane that you own to a different height. Oh, they don't do that. Or just make them start the battle in a different height. That's probably the easiest way to do that. That way they'll
Yeah,
behave.
I was searching and looking into how to make SCB decide what should be the height of engagement, like random. Something to certain values.
And I think should you have? I think for mine, I should have enough material to build 2 ships over again, so twice the amount of cost of my ship. Because why not?
It depends how expensive are your designs, really.
Well, currently the one I'm working on is 1.2 million.
Well, most of mine never exceed 20,000, and most of them is around 10,000. And I just put them in numbers, like really big numbers.
Huh.
This way, even if you get jump scared by something like Scarlet Dawn laser satellite or something, then well, you will lose a bunch of them and no one cares. Just build more. And if you lose your main super uber battleship, then well, kind of sadness.
Yeah, because it's gonna take more damage because it's a bigger target, I guess. So he needs more. Needs to repair more often. Take head. Wait. Yep.
Yes. There's a hole in this ship. Maybe I should add more missiles.
Hello.
I don't know. I'm back already because my class ended very soon.
Oh, cram. A single cram. Will it hit or not? I mean, why? It just fired in completely random direction.
Oh, what are you guys doing?
Messing around with mimics. A bit.
Yeah. I'm testing my drones, and they seem to work mostly.
Mostly.
Mostly, I mean, look, average accuracy of around 80% is, I believe, one of by far the best of any weapon systems in this game, except for lasers. Especially over a distance of over 4 kilometers. So, yes, kind of. Also, this thing haven't touched any of my vessels yet, and it is kind of missing a lot of parts. Maybe I will remake those missiles to be like torpedoes. Then I would be able to deal even more damage, but only to ships, not to airships, because this thing right now also supports killing airships. Actually, we'll deploy it against Scarlet Dawn in a moment. So, what's going to happen? Alright.
How do we do ropes in the game?
How do we do what?
Ropes.
Ropes. We don't.
But they're in the
Like
game.
sometime- Like I saw sometime like vehicles with like rope.
What is this thing? Oh! Oh! Now let's have a look if it will survive.
Steam output?
How is this thing even flying? Oh. Like, really a lot of thrusters. Wow. Kind of sadness.
Let's see. That is exactly. Okay. And then make it wider over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like that. Yep. And turret will start. Yeah. So here. Right there. 5x5. Hollow point. What?
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. How does that work? Why does that work? It's not even connected.
Time for making a tourniquet on that one. At the rear, I might do a. I don't know. I could do a. I was thinking. Could do a whatchamacallit, a flares. I could do missiles maybe, or I can just like do the same at the front, in the front, or just have a. I don't know. What should I put at the rear? More guns.
You mean
More Doc is
Alright.
always the answer.
you can choose either CVS, counter missiles, but they will help only against Cram, really. You know, it kind of depends. You could. The simplest solution would be LAMs. The cheapest one will be CVS, extended with countermeasures. Countermeasures against missiles and CVS against Cram. And it should work, really.
Well, LAMS is for
Everything, really.
no LAMS. What does that mean?
Laser defense.
Oh, laser defense. Okay.
Yes.
What is it? Talon? Godly airship. Warlord.
Oh, damn. Actually, let's see what will happen in such a close engagement. Excellent. The thing is still flying. Well, that's a good design then. Jeez. That's a lot of missiles.
I have turned.
Yeah.
Sorry, it took me forever. Sorry, I had to walk the dog.
It's okay.
And the AI must be dead. Yep. Dead.
You should stop killing the AI. It's really bad.
Hmm?
You should stop killing the AI.
I mean, it killed itself, really, by getting shot.
It asked for it.
It was suicide.
It killed itself by getting shot?
Yes,
So
getting shot is a suicide, in my opinion.
No. What I heard is baguette. So it killed itself like a Frenchman.
Huh?
Wait. This thing is using... What are
Sarcasm?
those
Yes,
missiles?
I am.
No, I'm trying to look into what are those missiles to get... Oh, those are two shape charged? Yes.
They're big missiles. And can you not shoot at my ship, please?
Okay. Alright, so this thing is dangerous. Like, really dangerous.
What's it going? Sinking. What is that? 92. What the fuck? Sinking.
You need to go. What did you spawn?
A frame.
Oh, good. Nope.
Where's the start?
Box.
In the air. Okay, that's good.
Apparently my rate of fire is 396, and I don't see what is blocking, or what is making it lower.
What?
Because I have 450 for autoloader,
Wow.
440. Huh?
This design is actually amazing. I mean, this particular Scarlet Dawn design. It's like really fast and resilient.
Which one is it?
It's called Fission.
Fishing.
No, yes, Fission.
Have you fought the
It's really
Crucible?
amazing.
Have you fought the Crucible
time?
yet?
Is it trying to split things? If
Crusader
not,
not
it does
yet.
not deserve the name.
I'm right now just testing. Wow.
There's the guns,
Maxwell.
armored, I mean. Yes.
Jeez, how fast is it going? It must be moving almost 150 meters a second. As fast as missiles. Really fast.
Damn.
And yes, it has hole in it. So it isn't fast anymore. And those guys. 3, 6, 8. So 2 go to that, but that's fine. 16k for 230k. That's
Whatever
a
you're
good-
doing, can you not?
Yes.
I delete this ship. What I have spawned.
Okay, let me know when it's done. I'm at 8 frames and dropping.
1 frame.
What video card do you have?
Me?
Yeah.
1660. GTX 1660. It's
Nice.
a 20 series era card. It's an RTX. It's an RTX 20 series era card, released concurrently with the 20 series.
Oh.
I believe what happened to that card is someone, during the mid-development of the 16 series, someone managed to figure out how to do, how to program, allow for hardware simulation of actual ray, actual light.
The ship.
Ray tracing?
Yeah, in the middle of the development of the 16 series. So they got the 1660 out, and they had the 1660 developed, and then they basically canceled the rest of them.
Yeah.
My ship disappeared in space.
Ray tracing's been around for a while. It's just they haven't actually got into
They didn't
games
have the
until
ability
recently.
to use the hardware to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm aware. Now, are you going to be? Yes. You are not the way I want you to be. All right, then. Here we go. Boom.
How do we do the bullet cam already?
Caps lock
Yeah,
control.
caps lock. Sorry, not control.
Oh, caps lock.
controls the fire.
Right.
I've never played a game that actually had that, like, bullet cam. Other than maybe, what was it called? That sniper game. Ghost Warrior? Something like that?
Well, there's a Sniper Elite
Yeah.
that has a bullet cam.
Sniper Elite, that's what I'm thinking of. That has a
Yeah.
bullet cam.
Have it on my PS3. I think. Yeah.
I gotta get into that game. That game's so much fun.
I managed to get a PS3 like a for $140 Canadian $140 Canadian with like 14 games, I think. 14 or 15 games and like 5 games that I didn't want. And all the cables needed a cheap knockoff controller and 2 DualShock controller.
Damn.
Like just for 140, like I think it was like. I think it's good.
Yeah, that is good. How many games did you say it had? 5?
15 or 14 or something like that.
Damn. Yeah, that's
And
good.
some that like 5 of those like are those that I don't regret. Like I wouldn't regret selling.
Mr. Thought.
Huh?
I'm sorry. I'm focused on what I'm doing, not on what you're saying.
It's okay.
There we go. Now can I walk up the stairs? Yes.
I love the new spawning interface. It's so much better.
Oh, for the enemies.
Yeah. What the fuck?
Okay.
What is that?
I know.
Airplane? Sounds like a remote control airplane. Wow.
So I might do a lamp system, but I don't know.
Nope, that has to stay that way.
Huh?
Looking at my armor.
I don't know. Maybe flares.
My mom should do her own research.
Is it normal that there's the particle tube here and not in the I think they haven't completely finished the guys, are you like? I think you've already seen that, but the fact that the particle accelerator thing, the pack thing, has like there's still a pack guide button and the particle to 1 meter, the lasers, laser. Like there's they still they haven't completely removed the. That is so funny.
Alright, I'll get you guys later. I think I'm gonna get on World of Warcraft and do some PvP.
Let's do some small
Bye. Save. Spiral. I like that. Is it up? Probably should have checked if it's up. Montany. They should just link their music. Oh well. Huh. Australian appearance. Cool. Dos. Dos. Hurry up. Dos. 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 Do. 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 Oh, damn it. Do. Alright. Okay. Alright. Iron. Radium. Bronze. 10. Why did I do that? Anyway. That's it. Let's do DPS then. Wait, what? Younger. What? Thousand. What? For a pitchfork? Yeah, honest. Okay then. Very warrior PvP. Very high burst, very little cleave, damage can be unpredictable, few defensive cooldowns. That's fine. Sudden death, Stormbolt, Frenzy, Warpaint, and then Slaughterhouse and During Rage, right? During Rage and Battle Trance. After using Raging Blow twice in a row. Using Raging Blow on any target will cancel its effect. Okay. Just in. What? That's powerful as fuck. 40 is Frothing Berserker. Damn. Alright. Do I have enough for flying? Let's see. Fly me there. Pre-patch event. Wait a minute. I forgot about that. Oh well. Not that far away. God, Draenor is gorgeous.
Welcome back, everyone. The first stage of Shadowlands is about to begin with the pre-patch event. Zombies will be invading, Icecrown once again will be relevant, and there is much that you will be able to do, including getting your legion of freshly leveled up characters geared up and ready to enter the Shadowlands, just like how I am geared up and ready to get around regional restrictions with NordVPN, today's sponsor, which is available at my link, 68% off at $371 a month, and you get your first month free. Why use a VPN, right? Well, it's simple. Do you want to watch content from another region, say on Netflix? I mean, seriously, check out Japanese Netflix. There's way more on there. Easy. Use Nord's 5,000.
How do they do that? They like have multiple.
Use the internet like you were there.
These are all shaders, right?
Region blocks. Also,
Like
they keep you private.
further
Your ISP
closer
won't
in than
say
the
to
sky
use
sphere.
They can't sell your browsing
I
data
think.
to advertisers, nor can they prioritize some of the sites that you use over others. Also, I think this is important, Nord are a Panama registered company, so your government can't get to them to breach your privacy. And what's great is the user experience. The app and browser extension are super easy to use. And yes, 68% off and a free month at nordvpn.com/valuergaming. A big thank you to them for supporting our team. That support really is
Rala
going places. We'll see
Cloudly.
what that is soon. And with that said, let's get right into the video.
Let's get right into the
When you
video.
first log in during this event, things should pretty much be chaos. Death will be all around you unless you manage to log off somewhere that was nice and isolated. So what's the first thing to do? Well, outside of going around and having fun as a zombie or maybe a zombie exterminator, it's time for you to go get some gear and get some context for the Shadowlands. You see, the ultimate goal of week 1 of the pre-patch event is to respond to the plague and to put an end to Nathanos Blightcaller. The quests for week 1 basically, right, they basically amount to a reconvening of your faction capital, and then flying through the starter zone.
4,999. That is not bad at all.
In either Duskwood or the Barrens. It should really only take you around 20 minutes to get
8,000.
sorted from beginning to end. Though that said, a Scourge Outbreak is going on,
What's
so
that look
maybe
like?
it'll take you a bit longer. Of course, though, the most time-consuming part of this is making your way to the Eastern Plaguelands
Oh.
to take out Nathanos Blightcaller, in exchange, of course,
Nice.
for an item level 100 bit of gear and a cinematic. Now, Nathanos is a full world boss, so yes, you
Oh,
will
man, that is
defeat him,
cool.
And you can actually kill him weekly for more loot, of course, or, you know, for the joy of killing Nathanos, finally. Now, once you've seen that stuff play out, you're done. That's essentially it for week 1. There is not a whole lot going on. There's only one thing left, and that is the single available daily quest to kill zombies in your major city. Beyond that, though, well, just have fun leveling up some characters and spreading the Scourge around the place, or doing other pre-patch related activities. Whatever it is, you'll have to wait till week 2. Once the second
How do you
week
make True
rolls
Steel?
around, it is time for you to head to Icecrown. Now, if you've got a character from back in Wrath of the Lich King, and you have the Argent Tournament Tabard, then that'll be pretty great, because you'll be able to teleport to the tournament whenever you want, and because you'll be going there daily for the dailies, that'll be dead handy. But okay, the Argent Dawn are actually operating out of the tournament grounds, so the first thing for you to do is to head there and start the quest chain that sets up, basically, us to understand our villains' motivations as we go into the Shadowlands. And, by the way, if that sounds good, our 2-part Lich King series will really make the Shadowlands, the Lich King, and the Jailer click and make sense for you. So,
Vendor Aria
the questions
Iron
themselves are
Feather.
very standard World of Warcraft
So
style
it's
quests, which is
10
pretty nice. Though really, it should not
iron.
take you more than an hour to do. Basically, go kill some Scourge and aid the wounded at the tournament, then go scouting the Cult of the Damned bases in Icecrown, which should all feel pretty familiar because, as with all cults in World of Warcraft, we of course get some of their robes, we go in disguise, we investigate, we cause some chaos, rescuing prisoners, sabotaging cauldrons, and then of course we drop a ton of bombs on their enemies, we go, we confront their leader, which is of course our first interaction with a denizen of the Shadowlands. And that is the narrative content done, but there is more to cover. Alright, time for the real meat of your gameplay to begin, the daily quests. So, there is that first daily quest in your faction city from week 1, but then there are more dailies that are actually available once Icecrown opens up, although only 4 of those will show up for you on any given day. Now, some of them are available as soon as you complete the first quest in Icecrown, but others do actually unlock after you complete the full quest chain, so do make sure that you actually finish out that quest chain on your first day so you can get all of the dailies to maximize your commendations, which are, of course, your big resource. Now, these are also standard quests. Kill specific mobs, free some prisoners, pick up and use some items, you know, the works. Thankfully, they did not reuse the Argent Tournament dailies that involve you, you know, going to that lake for the sword for the 18 millionth time. So yes, that is the daily content. Next, though, let's talk about the rewards.
Alright.
The daily quests that you do will give you Argent commendations, and these can be used to purchase catch-up gear and some goodies, like the Putrid
Was that
Ice
good?
Pet
Was that
and
the,
Broom. Now the gear is item level 100. That is the equivalent
Order-
of normal
order
gear,
hall?
and actually it will give you a leg up in your
Ashran.
initial Shadowlands gameplay on your fresh halts, because it's better than the gear you'll get in Bastion. So pretty good if you've been leveling up characters in the revamped leveling system. And there's actually 9 pieces, or like there's a piece for basically each of 9 armor types. So you really can fill like a lot of your character slots with this stuff. Sadly though, there's really not that much of use here for the transmog. These are unique appearances, technically, but they're basically just gladiator-colored versions of the Season 1 Aspirant gear. That's the same appearance as the Erethai Warfront set, which is of course the one we've been, you know, looking at all through
Heads of
BFA,
War.
so not much for the transmog. They are though really useful for Ultra catch-up gear. They cost 15 commendations each, and you'll be able to earn 17 commendations a day from doing your daily through BFA, so not much for the transmog. They are, though, really useful for Ultra catch-up gear. They cost 15 commendations each, and you will be able to earn 17 commendations a day from doing your dailies. But also, there are Scourge Stones. These are green and blue rarity items that you can actually turn in for extra commendations. And if that seems familiar to you, it's because it's actually a nod to the original Argent Dawn grind from quite some time ago. The green ones can drop from any Scourge mob, and the blue ones, of course, are rarer, though the zone bosses do drop multiple of them. Now these trade in at a rate of 1 commendation per 25 of the green ones, or 3 commendations per 25 of the blues. So, you know what that means.
25.
If doing your dailies is not enough and you want that gear faster, yeah, you can just set a few hours aside and you can go and grind the hell out of some mobs so you can get that gear real quick. Now, of course, that's not all, because there are also
212?
the Lich King era callback
Damn, man.
in the zone as rares. They are pretty tough, though, but of course, when
So
there
all
are
that
anywhere
shit.
between 10 and 50 players wailing on them at once, they do not last long. And of course, these stars are Patchwork, Noth, Putricide, Lanathel, the Black Knight. Basically, if you killed an undead boss in Wrath, there's a high chance they're going to show up in this event. Now, those bosses will actually drop level-appropriate versions of their original gear from their Wrath of the Lich King drop table, so that's pretty cool. And of course, that also can be a fun source of transmog, gear for your character, and also some nice weapons as well, if you're fast enough to get the tag in. There's one
Is that
special boss, though,
Arendon?
is it Rojarm? He's the boss from the Forge of Souls that is a callback to basically the guy who did soul music, and yeah, he drops a 34 slot bag. So that's pretty cool. We want to take him out as well. He is one of the zone rares. That's it. There you go. That's basically it for the event. Now, of course, outside outside of this, there are the ongoing invasions of the Scourge, which basically run as a kind of backdrop to the Argent Dawn assault on Icecrown. So, with that said, let's talk about the Scourge invasion. Okay, time for a rundown of how the invasion works. So, well, either you know what to look out for, or, well, you know how to avoid it. Right, zombies will show up in Stormwind and Orgrimmar, and they will start to infect players and NPCs with their attacks. Once hit, you will die in a minute or so, and you will then become a zombie yourself, unless you can get to an Argent healer in time. Because yeah, no player mechanics or anything can help, you need to get to a healer, or you will turn into a zombie. Good luck with that, though, because at least in the PTR, the healers were often, of course, the first NPCs targeted by zombie players. Now, these healers, of course, will do a lot of damage.
Something's not
so
right.
you will need to
Why is
bring
my
a
health so
strike
bad?
force of zombies with you if you want to bring the healers down and really spread that plague across the city. Now, if you are so inclined, there are other ways to cause chaos if the healers have been taken out, and it can get quite fun. I mean, zombies can basically clear out NPCs with ease, and well,
Oh,
it's
shit.
barren of anything useful for a start, so there is that. But the next, and maybe most fun, is to bring the plague as far as you can spread it yourself, and that can be quite fun. And this is basically where that whole 1 minute timer till infection gives you a lot of time to get around the world and to start causing chaos in the player hubs, right? Because you'll turn into a zombie in a minute, but during that minute you can still fly around as a player, so you can go to a transport hub or something like that and get ready for chaos. I mean, one of your abilities as zombie is to self-destruct, and that self-destruct will instantly infect players and NPCs in AoE. So, you want to land that on a bunch of players who think they're flying high enough to avoid your attacks, and if you do that, you'll get some great sadistic fun, which I guess is what a zombie invasion is all about. Now, if you're one of those lawful good players,
What
get your basements done in the city, yeah, I mean, good luck. Your only recourse once zombified is to just die and respawn. But luckily for you, and unlike some of these events in the past, it basically rolls on a rotation of sorts, right? So the chaos is not.
I've never
all
done
the
this
time.
dungeon before.
Basically, it comes in waves every few hours. Some people think that's a shame. Some people think that's a good thing. So I'll leave that out of this video. Now, there is one type of player who will be immune to this thing, though, and that is any newcomer players from Exile's Reach. They will have immunity to all effects of the invasion because, yeah, it may not make for the best new player experience for you to come off the newbie island and then just not know what the hell is going on. So there you go, that is it. That is the pre-patch event. There's not a massive amount, to be honest, but the zombie invasion is a pretty fun way to spend some time. And, hey, you know...
Victory Rush is global. Oh, I just unlocked it.
World of Warcraft hasn't actually seen in, what, over a decade? And yeah, on the content side, I mean, there's not that much content, but if you want a whole bunch of gear and you want to get some 34 slot bags, then hey, it's a pretty decent thing to do. All in all, then, the event is, I'd say, definitely worth logging in for the experience. You know, you may as well get some gear and get a 34 slot bag, kill some old bosses. And it's a pretty good way to just get yourself into the flow of some WoW gameplay, perhaps with some new classes. I mean, if I actually get the time to do that, instead of making content based on the PTR and the beta, then yes, I would love to do that. That's what I would intend to do. So anyway, that's that. That's the pre-patch event. Hope you have fun with it. And yeah, with that said, won't be too long until Shadowlands itself comes out. Pretty hyped for that. Okay, that's it for me. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
Abilities removed for being removed quickly for being too powerful.
Sometimes in World of Warcraft, they'll introduce new abilities or talents in the game, which are too difficult to balance, so they just completely alter them to something else, or remove them completely from the game. And in this list, we'll go over which one of these abilities were removed the fastest in this way.
Okay.
And at number 10, we have Void Tendrils, which existed in the game for 2 expansions before being removed. And this will be
Oh, dude! Yo, I fucking hated this shit. Oh my god, I fucking hated this so much, man. I forgot.
Oh, I've seen this before.
Wasn't it? Oh, dude, this made me so.
They're coming back in Legos for Shadowlands, right?
The ability was still in the game for 2 expansions, even after it was heavily altered. You see, what Void Tendrils did was it was a very innocuous priest CC ability, which would root nearby targets to the priest for the standard PvP duration, or 20 seconds in non-PvP scenarios.
Yeah.
And what was unique about these roots was that they did not break on damage, like pretty much every single other root in the game, because they had a little gimmick.
You had to kill them.
You see, in order to break the roots of Void Tendrils, you had to literally attack and kill the Void Tendrils which were rooting you in place.
I thought that was really cool. Like, theoretically, that sounds really cool, but as a warrior, that sucked. Like, it was the most annoying fucking thing that you could ever imagine. Because you had to, like, switch targets and swap over, and it was like, yeah, basically totems.
And since the root was counted as a
bad.
target you had to defeat, they couldn't be dispelled either, which gave them all kinds of advantages over normal CC abilities.
Yeah.
This ability basically removed melee characters from the fight, and allowed you to attack them with impunity from range, which is kind of why other roots break on damage. They could also be considered a full form of protection, as the melee character would have to attack the Void Tendrils for a bit if they wanted to break them.
Exactly.
Which
Wait.
meant they had to stop their
Oh, they changed direction.
The Void Tendrils were also pretty beefy, as they had 20% of the priest's health. So it was like attacking through a fifth of a player's health bar and which meant you couldn't easily one-shot them quickly. And they, of course, had a short 30-second cooldown, and could affect up to 5 targets.
Right.
And it was one of the first talents a priest could pick up, and could be used alongside other CC.
4381.
It wasn't crazy in PvP.
Yeah, I probably,
But it wasn't crazy. But it was, like, ridiculously fucking annoying in PvP.
Funny thing is, the Void Tendrils were
Because
not
the NPCs
considered
would attack it.
overpowered, because this all happened in Mists of Pandaria. And Mists of Pandaria is when PvP crowd control was at its most power-crept version.
I remember back in Mists of Pandaria, I watched a video of this guy that sat in a CC chain in a 2v2 match for 2 minutes. 2 minutes. This dude was locked out of the fucking game. Like, I feel like back in Mists of Pandaria, I almost wanted Blizzard to refund me a penny every single time that I got stuck in a CC chain. Because I'm paying to play the game, you know? And I can't even play the game. At a certain point, like, you literally can't fucking even play the game. It's insane.
It's kind of the point in WoW that they never wanted to get to again.
Yeah.
With every class having a
It was
ridiculous
awful.
amount of CC. And since it existed in this time period, it kind of flew under the radar a little bit. Only a little bit, because as soon as Warlords of Draenor hit, the ability received all kinds of nerfs.
Yeah, it's
It was
fucking
moved
stupid.
to a higher level in the talent tree, so
Yep.
you can no longer get it at low levels. They lowered the health of the tendrils in half, and made it so any damage you dealt to the rooted target also
Alright.
dealt damage to the tendrils. So you can no
Try
longer
again.
attack melee targets caught in it with impunity. And all of these nerfs made the ability kind of useless, which is why they later buffed the HP of the void tendrils by 30%, and then eventually just removed them in Legion rather than try to deal with this problem.
See, I told you Legion was a good expansion. See, it proves it right there. Shadow Priest got fucked.
So really, it only existed in its prime for one expansion.
Yeah.
And only lasted as long as it did because everything else was kind of broken in the same time period.
Makes sense.
And at number 9, we have Glyph of Unleashed Lightning. This was a glyph that only existed for 1.25 expansions before it was just removed and converted as something that
Wasn't
was
this like in Vista Pandaria or
You
Kata?
see, what this glyph did, which was added to the game in late Cataclysm,
Yeah.
was simply allow shamans to cast the lightning bolt spell while moving.
See, like, that's basically, like, what it was. Is, like, Vanilla WoW, it's like you had part of your class. Burning Crusade, you had more of your class. Wrath of the Witch King, you had all of your class. Cataclysm, you had some of somebody else's class. Mists of Pandaria, everybody else's class, and all of your class. And also, you were able to cast all of your abilities while you were moving at any time. Like, that's basically what happened. And, like, it just got to the point where, like, everybody just had everything, and it was insane. Like, the game was cool in a way, but, like, some of the, like, this was fucking ridiculous. It was fucking ridiculous.
And that's it. It just allowed
was
them to
fun
cast
too,
their
though.
filler spell on the move at the cost of giving up one of their glyph
Monk.
slots. You see, in the time period,
How much
a lot of
SP does he
casters
have?
were getting a lot of mobility. And this is when they were starting to loosen the rules and abilities that let casters do stuff on the move. And this glyph was kind of an experiment of letting one of the casters use their filler spell all the time on the move just to see how it affected the game.
Yeah.
I assume, because Warlock could also get Killjaden's Cunning very shortly after, which also allowed them to cast filler spells while on the move. Hunters were given the ability to cast
That was
every...
a really great ability, man. I loved that ability. It was super fun, very exciting.
Try again.
Permanently, yeah, it was fucking
We got it.
I love that shit.
everything on the move, and priests were given shadowy apparitions,
Yeah.
which in their very first form had a super increased chance to spawn if they were on the move. And what do you know? Everybody loved the glyph.
Big
Every
surprise.
shaman took it. It was probably one of the most
When would you
used
ever
glyphs
not take
ever.
that as the glyph?
Well, that might be a little bit of hyperbole.
Yeah.
Most classes only had a handful of good glyphs anyway. But you kind of get the point.
Well, that's what it was. There was like 12 glyphs in the game, and one of them was like you can cast Lightning Bolt while moving, and the other one was Lightning Bolt has a different animation. So guess which one people went with? It was like the glyphs were they were not necessarily amazing. Like there were obvious.
Whoa.
They're the 3 best glyphs that you would go with, and then you just always use those things. Like I wish that there were good glyphs in the game now. Like I like glyphs. I thought they were really interesting. But making all of the glyphs cosmetic is probably a good idea. Like realistically, making them all cosmetic is probably a better idea than what they had before.
Yeah.
It was so good that they had to nerf
What?
In Mists of Pandaria, it was changed to actually have a damage
It went from like 400 to like
where it was
0.
a 5% haste
It was
penalty
still
if you
way
cast
fucking
lightning
better.
bolt while moving.
Fuck.
This was supposed to make it so that you couldn't
You'd
do
still
full
use it.
damage while on the move, and had to take some kind of hit for
5%
that
less
penalty.
damage. 5%
But it
half
wasn't
damage.
really enough.
7.
Yeah.
Shamans kept moving while doing their full
That's right.
rotation, so
It was
only had to
insane.
sit still for a handful of moments.
Exactly.
But for the most part, this glyph made them one of the most mobile casters in the game. And since Warlocks had to take up one of their precious talent points in order to gain Sin level ability,
Heal.
they decided to remove it from the game in patch 5.0. And instead replace it with Glyph
Shit.
of Lightning
Okay,
Shield.
we're still
And
alive.
shamans have been sad ever since, and always ask for the return of the glyph in some way. Warlocks also lost the ability to cast while moving. Blizzard changed their mind hardcore after Mists of Pandaria, and
Yeah.
kind of took away all casters' abilities to do stuff while moving.
That was a good thing. I feel like the caster, like the idea of being a caster, should be that you cast. Like there should be some abilities that you can cast and you can move, but the majority is that you stop moving and you cast. Because really, if you can move and cast, you're basically a melee character that just has a longer range. I don't know. I thought it was a good decision. like sitting there and like being smart about the way that you cast. I think the way that it should work is that it's harder to cast an ability, but if you get the motherfucker off, it does a lot of damage. That's how I think it should work. Hunters? Yeah, hunters are like an exception, right? I mean, you don't want to have every class like a hunter.
Except hunters. They just kind of made one of the specs have to stand still for a bit instead. So,
Yeah.
since the glyph was added in the second patch in Cataclysm, and then removed in the third patch in Mist of Pandaria, it was only in the game for about 1 1/4 expansion, give or take.
Yeah.
I'm not doing actual math on this, since this is the only ability on this list, which was mid.
I felt like I was dodging when
And at number 8, we
to
have
avoid walls. Yeah.
a Brewmaster Monk ability. This ability,
Ready.
added with the Monk class when they were introduced to the game, simply allowed the Monk to charge a target while also death gripping the target to their location. And then they would meet like halfway and then stun everything else around them at the point of impact.
Dude, I
So
don't
it
remember
was
that
half
at
a
all.
charge, half a pull, and was an excellent tool for monks to give them even more maneuverability, as they were one of the most mobile classes in the game at the time.
Really?
However, with the shift in Warlords of Draenor to remove a ton of class maneuverability and CC,
Wait, so they're adding it back? Because, yeah, I was about to say, this guy's in the Shadowlands beta right now. So they're adding this overpowered ability back from...
Clash kind of hit the cutting room floor because it was both of those things. It could be considered a gap closer and a CC, because that's exactly what it was. So this ability only existed in the game for one expansion.
Right.
Now, just like Void Tendrils, it wasn't really causing any problems, but that's because it was Mist of Pandaria and everyone was broken.
Yes.
Currently, Blizzard has plans on returning
That was one of the good things about Mist of Pandaria, is because everybody was so brokenly overpowered, they could just add a new overpowered ability into the game.
Really?
And nobody would care, because it's like, oh yeah, I already have...
Yeah, they had the most abilities, right?
Shadowlands,
Mop.
as monks have the ability on the beta,
Yeah.
and it's only a slightly nerfed version of its Mist of Pandaria counterpart, as it still basically does the exact same thing. It no longer has an AoE stun component to it like it used to.
So wouldn't that make raids easy because they're so overpowered? I'm not even getting hit. What the fuck?
7, we have Symbiosis.
This was so cool. Like, this ability was fucking awesome. I don't know why they got rid of this. Like, this was a badass ability. It was, like, unique. It was different for everybody. There was, like, so much to it. That was awesome.
This is a druid ability that only existed in Mist of Pandaria.
Yep.
You can see a theme here with all of these removed abilities, and was only in the game for one expansion. I don't think I've ever seen an ability balanced and fixed and tuned as much as Symbiosis, despite the fact that it was only around for a single expansion.
Well, yeah, they literally give you other classes' abilities. That's what I was saying. It's like in Mist of Pandaria, you then become another class on top of your class. It's fucking insane.
Because what it did was probably more than any other ability in the game's history. Essentially, it allowed the druid to learn one of 40 new abilities, depending on which class they use the ability on. I'll have a whole list of them on screen, and it would also give the ability to another class it was used on.
That is crazy.
It was an ability that required a flowchart to make it best.
I'm gone.
And it was a nightmare.
Fuck.
They
I don't know what's going
constantly
on with this.
updated
Like, it feels like I'm dodging it, but I'm getting hit. Like,
This is massive.
If anything,
I don't know.
I'm sure they wanted to remove
You're
the
retarded.
but since it was one of the hallmark abilities that retained with
Well, it wasn't just a hallmark ability, it was a cool as fuck ability. Like, this is a badass ability. All things considered, this was really, really cool. And it's like, it's always, like, that's always gonna be, like, the balance between, like, making something really fucking overpowered versus making something really good. Or like, really fun, or, like, really balanced.
that new expansion. They were probably obligated to stick it out until the end of the
Yeah.
expansion. This one was definitely removed because of balancing nightmares,
No
and
doubt.
not because it was overpowered. I'm sure most groups thought it was just a fun, neat
Thank
thing
you.
for druids to do that most
And,
people
like, Mythic
never
Radio
really
was
bothered
always-
with. It didn't really impact world first races that much, and since everything else was broken in PvP in that expansion, it didn't really matter either. Now,
What
I
is
actually
that?
bring this ability up a lot in other videos that talk about removed abilities, because this ability was so unique that it just kind of gets brought up a lot in these kinds of things. And at number 6, we have Gladiator's Resolve. This was a town that only existed for one expansion in Warlords of Draenor, and basically gave Krot warriors a new stance called Gladiator Stance.
Yeah, I remember Gladiator
which
Stance
increased
was
the
pretty
damage
cool.
reduction of their defensive stance by 5%.
I like Gladiator Stance a
if
lot.
they wanted some use of it outside of its new Gladiator Stance. But while in Gladiator Stance, which replaced
Gladiator Stance was fucking amazing. The reason why Gladiator Stance was trash.
They need to bring stances back,
There was like a stat in Warlords of Draenor
like
called
defensive
bonus
and.
or like bonus something, and because bonus armor increased your attack power if you were Gladiator Stance, it made it to where you
What?
did way more damage with bonus armor gear, and it made Gladiator Stance warriors compete with tank warriors for damage, and that's what made them so bad. That's what made it so annoying. It was amazing but trash. Yeah, it's like if they made it to where Gladiator warriors were not competing for tank gear against tanks, I think it would have been fine.
Placed a battle stance. It increased their damage by 5%, gave them a 50% increase to their mastery, and replaced their shield
Yep.
with a shield charge ability.
This was pretty fucking fun.
And there
dude.
was also a little caveat
This
to
was
the
fun,
ability
dude.
where you could not change into or out of the stance during combat.
Yep.
What?
So if you picked Gladiator Stance, you were stuck in it. So
Yep.
why was this ability removed? Well, it essentially gave Protection Warriors 2 specs within a spec, in the same way that Feral Druids used to work before they were split into 2 sections.
I don't mind that though.
Guardian and Feral were their tank and DPS builds. For Protection Warriors, there was the normal defensive stance build.
Okay, just 1 second. I do want to say, Gladiator's Resolve and the Gladiator Stance was really, really cool. I like this ability a lot, and this is basically like whenever you're thinking of like an ancient like Roman or like a Spartan warrior, you're not thinking of some guy with a giant two-handed weapon. You've got some guy with a fucking short sword and a shield. So Gladiator's Resolve was supposed to be like kind of pursuing that fantasy, but the problem was that like the functionality of the class just didn't really work.
And then the Gladiator Stance build, which did more damage. But it wasn't supposed to be competitive with a pure damage build.
Exactly.
Even though with the right gear and theory crafting, it could do pretty well for it. In a lot
It's
of
not that it could do pretty well. It was the best warrior spec in the game. At the beginning of Primal, it was the best warrior spec in the game. Gladiator Stance was. It was insane. I remember having to play it, and it was so annoying because you had to hit like fucking like 120 abilities. What was like the APM for the class was like super fucking high.
Yeah.
people loved the Gladiator stance, as it was essentially providing a force back to warriors. But in Legion, they were removing stances from the game, and it was a nightmare to balance.
Yeah.
So instead of trying to incorporate it to the game as a
Yeah, nightmare balance means no good.
they just kind of got rid of it since it wasn't really that fun. And at number 5,
It was disappointing, man. It really was. I actually really enjoyed the ability, and I wish that they had tried one extra expansion to make it a little bit better.
Why?
I feel like a lot of times they have
Oh, yeah.
like symbiosis or something that they could like maybe water down and make a cool ability, but they just like kind of throw their hands up in the air and they're like, you know what, fuck it, let's throw it away. It sucks.
we have Dematerialize, a monk passive ability which only existed in the game for one expansion in Mists of Pandaria. And what this ability did was when you were stunned, you would phase out of existence temporarily for 2 seconds, causing attacks to miss you on a 10-second cooldown.
Oh, dude. Oh my god. This is, oh, dude. I remember this one. Oh,
That would gotta be annoying. I can't imagine that. Well, that was in MOP, right?
And like, I remember you'd have warriors that would like stun them and you'd be killing them and then they'd go fucking invulnerable.
How long did it last? 2 seconds?
Why I hated monks, okay? People are like, it had a 10-second ICD. Like, this is like you stun them. 8, 9.
2 seconds.
Again, and they just fucking dematerialize again. It was so fucking bad, man. Like, I hated this.
When you are
so
stunned.
much. It actually made playing in Mists of Pandaria against monks so unfun. It was the worst ever.
And what this essentially meant was a monk was all but immune to abilities for 2 seconds after
Yeah.
they got stunned, which kind of made them softly immune to stuns, as in PvP situations you would generally dump all of your damage onto a target as soon as they got CC. And it would be
Yeah.
very difficult to remember that you had to hold back on Monk specifically for 2 seconds after a stun took place, so that all of your cooldowns would miss.
It was so bad.
It was such a good passive ability that it was changed pretty quickly within the expansion, and given all kinds of nerfs before they just removed it from the game completely as soon as they could in the next expansion.
Yes.
And it's
thank
probably
you.
one of the strongest passive abilities
Thank
that
you.
has ever been added to the game.
It was.
Because of just how huge being immune to damage
Yep.
for 2 seconds after being stunned
It's
is,
fucking broken.
since that's one of the main ways people crowd control someone before laying in heavy damage.
It was fucking broken, dude.
Especially in epics, I bet, where you have a whole bunch of attacks hitting you at one time.
And at number 4, we have Prismatic Crystal, a mage town that only existed for one expansion in Warlords of Draenor. What this ability did was, on a cooldown, you could place a crystal on the floor next to a target, and then you could attack it for 12 seconds.
I
Every
like
time you
this.
attack the crystal, it would pulse the damage to everything around the crystal for
I actually really like this ability. I know some people weren't like big fans of it, but I really like the ability because it rewarded placement, it rewarded planning, and yeah, obviously like for bosses it was kind of boring, but it was like that extra thing that you could do. It's like I'd like to see Prismatic Crystal come back. Because it was a great PvE ability that good players could take advantage of, and bad players were not able to. And I think that's kind of like the hallmark of like if an ability is good or not, is if it can separate good players from bad players.
God damn it.
exactly the amount of damage you put into it, and it would also
Fuck.
increase the damage delta.
Thought I could do it. No.
So it could essentially turn all of
Oh, they're
your
all
damage
elite. I didn't realize that.
for 12 seconds. Now, funny thing about the crystal,
Fuck.
it replicated all of the damage you dealt, including the damage from trinkets. So, towards the end of the expansion, mages were able to use this AoE trinket called the Prophecy of Fear, which would put debuffs on the target for 10 seconds that would pulse AoE damage every time you dealt damage to the target that had the debuff. So, if an arcane mage just pumped a whole bunch of arcane missiles that proc the hell out of the trinket, it would deal its AoE damage around the crystal, and then deal the damage again from the crystal
It was
itself, replicating the damage,
ridiculous.
which essentially allowed them to double
Absolutely
up on the
fucking
trinket's
ridiculous.
damage, and allowed groups of mages to kill bosses in under 30 seconds.
So this is how it worked, right? Is like back then you had like your legendary ring, and because legendary ring like made you do so much damage, watch how fast. This was a mythic raid boss. Just keep that in mind. This right here is a mythic raid boss.
The expansion, but they kind of overcured the stuff anyway.
Look at
And
that.
the crystal wasn't a very well-liked talent. It was good and kind of overpowered if you optimized for it, but it was kind of
Dead.
clunky to use and required a target to be
Mythic
near
raid
for
boss
12
right
seconds to get the full benefit out of it.
Oh, and
So
by the
not-
way, that was a current mythic raid boss, not like a mythic raid boss in the
Kill
first
him.
tier and you're in the last tier. No,
Healer's
that was
not
a
here.
current
What the
mythic
fuck am I
raid
doing?
boss. Like,
I ain't even paying attention.
some videos. Let me
Ah.
I wanna watch it again.
God damn it.
Watch this motherfucker. This is
Oh, wow. That was stupid.
Iron Reaper.
and allowed
1,
groups of mages to kill bosses
2,
in under 30 seconds at the
3.
end of the expansion,
Oh,
but they kind of overcured this stuff anyway.
Look at
And
this.
the
how-
crystal wasn't a very well-liked
Look
talent.
at it.
It was good and
He's just
kind
getting
of
fucking
overpowered
deleted.
if you optimized for it, but it was kind of clunky
Jesus.
to use and required a target to be near it for 12 seconds.
I
to
liked
get
it.
the full benefit out of it.
Yeah, I
So
like the
not too many
ability.
people were super sad to see it go away when it was removed in the very next expansion, so they no longer had to try to balance.
Yeah,
Honestly, they could kind of balance it pretty easily by just allowing only mage abilities to work on it,
Yeah,
or
probably.
only certain kinds of abilities to be transferred through, similar to how Atonement works for Disperse. And at number 3, we have Aspect of the Fox, version 2.0, which was added
Here
to
we
the
go.
game in Warlords of Draenor in one of the earliest patches.
Dude, this was so fucking OP, man. This was so fucking OP.
Especially in
Because
raid.
What you do is you needed like 3 or 4 hunters for Mythic Blackhand, and the strategy used to be to spam Aspect of the Fox in the first phase, so you could just avoid all of the AoEs on the ground, and you would have the entire raid rotating around fighting the boss. It looked really, really cool, but this shit was broken, man. This was absolutely fucking broken.
You still have to coordinate them, though.
Patches later, it's
Make sure that you're being
Now,
efficient.
Amplify Magic
Yeah.
also makes the spot on the list since it kind of fit in the same theme as Aspect of the Fox. You see, in Warlords of Draenor, they wanted to give a couple of the pure DPS classes utility inside of the
Yep.
raid in the form of raid-wide cooldowns.
The ground
So,
went
what
cry.
they did for mages and hunters was give them 2 abilities that they no longer had, and retool them to work in a way similar to how they used to work when they were part of their classes.
Yeah.
Aspect of the Fox was the aspect hunters used
Yeah,
to
two
have that
patches
would
are
allow them to
examples.
cast while moving.
They got rid of that
Before they
real
just
quick.
let them cast while moving baseline.
Let's go.
Remove the
Real
idea
quick.
of aspect dancing from the game. And Amplify Magic was a very niche
I
ability
thought
that
aspect dancing was like kind of like a cool thing in Classic. Like for example, when you had it back in the day, you would like go between like you know, aspect of the hawk and aspect of the cheetah to like kite somebody. But I don't really know if like all those kinds of things are like things you need to carry forward. Like at a certain point, it's okay. Like I don't think that you should have to change aspects rotationally. Like that sounds stupid to me. But it should be something that you can do if you're in like a really niche situation and you want to be able to take advantage of it. That's like kind of my take on it based off of my timeline. My Hawk? No, aspect of Hawk. Not aspect of my Hawk.
mages could cast on people that would increase the amount of healing they received, but also increase the amount of magic damage they took. So, what the new raid-wide ability hunters received did was on a 3-minute cooldown, it would allow everyone in the raid to cast while moving for 6 seconds. And for mages, on a 2-minute cooldown, it would increase the healing everyone in the raid received by 10% for 6 seconds. And these are both good
I
effects.
forgot about it
So,
from Magic.
why were they removed
about
from
it.
the game? Well, for 2 reasons. For one, hunters and mages didn't like using them. They didn't play those classes in order to give the raid buffs. They wanted to just focus on dealing damage.
Yeah, because they're fucking selfish. Like, see, I don't know what else is like exactly. Yeah, these are. No, really, they didn't want to use the abilities because here, think about it like this. Said no one ever. I would not want to use it as a hunter. Here's why. If I use the ability that makes everybody else do more damage, that means that I comparatively do less damage. Because if they do more damage,
Right,
even if
and
I
then
do
you're
more
less.
damage than they, so like if I'm doing 10,000 DPS and they're doing 8,000 DPS, and then me using a cooldown makes them go up to 9,000 DPS, now they're only 1,000 DPS lower than me, and my ego isn't as big as if they were 2,000 DPS lower than me. So that's why you don't want to use it. Because you want to make sure that you want to kill the boss, right? But beyond killing the boss, you want to keep everybody as low as possible. Except for you.
And the abilities didn't increase their damage at all. They were helpful to the
The
raid,
Bloodlust?
sure, but they weren't exactly excited about being able to use them.
Yeah, fuck 'em.
And for 2, Aspect of the Fox was really strong. It allowed raiders to kind of trivialize certain mechanics by allowing all of the casters and healers to move for that incredibly limited time duration. Sure, Amplify Magic was good too. It's always nice to have extra healing, but the ability to give everyone in the raid movement while casting was kind of broken. And since players didn't really like using the ability anyway, they just kind of removed them
took it
rather than
out the
try to
game.
rebalance into something that wasn't
Yeah.
game-oriented.
That's probably a
And
good idea.
Amplify Magic just kind of got taken down alongside Aspect of the Fox, even though it wasn't as broken. So, while technically these 2 abilities did exist in the game for a long time beforehand, they were essentially 2
They got changed to where they were just completely fucking they were like completely like broken at the end, right? Aspect of the pack, dude. Remember whenever you had a hunter with aspect of the pack and an LFR run, and they wouldn't turn it off? I remember like in Throne of Thunder. So in Throne of Thunder, you know, like whenever you go from the first boss to the second boss, and there was like the wind area. Well, there would be a hunter that would keep on aspect of the pack. And then the moment that like somebody would get hit, they would try to move out, but since they were dazed, they couldn't move out of the wind fast enough, and the wind would just push them off the edge. It was one of the funniest fucking things that I ever saw. Like, I loved that, man. Aspect of the daze, yeah, it was really, really, really annoying.
New abilities added to the game that were just given the names of old abilities that used to exist.
Yeah.
So they definitely count for this list and only existed in the game for 2 patches. And at number 2, we have Blood Fear, a warlock town that only existed in early MOP for 2 patches.
Really?
This ability was in the game for a slightly shorter amount of time than
I don't
Aspect
remember
of the
this at
Fox,
all.
which is why it gets a higher spot, despite them both technically being
Yeah,
in the
I don't
game
remember
for
this
2
one at all.
patches each. You see, what this ability did was it would replace the Warlock Fear ability with a new ability called Blood Fear, which basically did the exact same thing. It would fear a target for 20
It
seconds.
was instant.
However, with 2 differences, it
Yeah.
had a 5-second cooldown, where the original Fear had no cooldown, and it was instant cast
That is-
instead of having a cast time.
Like, theoretically, that sounds like a badass ability. Like, I'll say that. Yeah, that sounds like a badass. I really, really like the idea of it. It's really cool.
And the fact that this version of Fear was instant cast was kind of
Yep.
Of course,
Nope.
this ability existed in Mist of Pandaria.
Instant cast
This
CD.
ability is kind of the
CC.
hallmark
Need.
of how crazy PvP was in that expansion.
Oh, it was fucking
Where they
insane.
thought giving Warlocks an instant fear was an okay thing to do.
Yeah, fuck it.
Here's the thing about spammable CCs with no cooldowns. They're kind of balanced around the counterplay of that cast time. And the
Yeah.
fact that they have diminishing returns. So with the cast time, there is the opportunity to play around it by running behind a pillar or just interrupting the ability.
Exactly.
And even then, those abilities are super strong. And
Well, that's the other thing, right? Is that this is what I don't like about healing now. Is like healing now is always fucking instant. Like healers can go up 30% health, 40% health with an instant cast.
Yeah, they removed a lot of dots, right? For anybody except for druids.
Cast an ability? What the fuck? I hate that, man. I absolutely fucking hate that. Do more damage? It's trash gameplay. The absolute trash gameplay. Healers should have to heal. They should have to cast abilities that can be interrupted. And then DPS should have to either interrupt those abilities or stun them and do more damage. There's nothing fun about just like attacking a target that's randomly healing to full health that you have no control over outside of your stun window that's every like half a minute.
Historically, classes that have spammable CCs, like Warlocks and Mages, have
Yeah.
seen tons of play in Arena and other PvP because of how strong those things are. So if you take an already strong ability like Fear and make it even stronger by removing the only counterplay option you have to it,
It's good.
then what you have is one of the most broken
You have a
CCs
comp.
in the game's history, which is called Blood Fear.
Yes.
Not the most broken, mind you. That would still probably be Glyph of Death and Decay, the glyph that early Wrath Death Knights used to have. But definitely on...
Dude, seasoned card Wrath Decays, man. Holy fuck, I forgot all about that.
They were so powerful, yeah.
About that, man. Oh my god. Like, it would literally just fear you. It was so bad. Like, Death and Decay, like, Death Knights were so broken in Season 5. It was absolutely just, it was the worst. Probably the most overpowered class in any season in any expansion, period.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, the ability was so strong that it was just removed from the game.
Monk only had that dodge,
It had the most amount of CC out of any expansion.
right? That was
You know
the
something is broken when it's considered too strong for Mist of Pandaria
Yeah.
PvP. So, when they removed the ability from the game, they replaced it with an ability called a Blood Horror, which would cast a debuff on yourself, which would
Oh.
incapacitate the next target that hit the Warlock with the melee.
Dude, I fucking love this
Damn.
ability. Because if you saw that the fucking Warlock popped this shit, you casted Spell Reflect, and you could reflect their own Blood Horror back onto them, man.
whoa.
Like, it was the best fucking ability ever. Like, I forgot that for... Dude, I haven't even thought about that ever since I did it.
I have a
That
spell
was
reflect
so
on there.
fucking good, man.
Play attack for 4 seconds.
No, not
So nowhere
until
near as good as the Broken Blood Fear, and Blizzard went very far in the other direction of not allowing any classes to have instant cast CCs without long cooldowns in the future.
Yeah.
And at number
Intervene.
1, we have Shadow of Death, a Death Knight
47,
ability
okay.
from early Wrath of the Lich King, which was only in the game for a single patch. Definitely the shortest amount of time.
Now, this word, I don't know if he's gonna say this, but I'm gonna say it. This ability, if this ability had like a thing you could cast a spell with this guy, and you would explode, and you would explode yourself, and you would do damage to everything around you. If you were doing an arena match, you casted the explosion ability, and you killed yourself, but you killed the opposing player, you would win the game. It was so fucking broken.
Time and ability was removed for being too powerful.
Yeah.
So, what did the ability do? Well, if the Death Knight died, they came back to life as a ghoul for 40%.
And they also didn't lose
And in Wrath of
durability.
the Lich King, Death Knights used to have this ability to raise other party members as ghouls after they died, before they
Yep.
were just given a normal battle res, which gave them their own
That was
little
pretty
ghoul
cool.
action bar and
Yeah.
allowed them to do some decent damage for a bit.
This was really
It was
cool.
kind of like playing a hunter's pet with its own set of abilities.
Exactly.
And
Damn.
since Death Knights would just gain this ability passively when they died, it allowed basically any Death Knight who took this talent to stay in the fight and keep performing raid mechanics after they normally would.
By the way, these things actually did a lot of damage. It wasn't like, you know, I just did little slippy slappity? No. These did real, like, fucking big dick damage. Like, they were basically like it was like having level 75 warrior attacking you.
Damn.
Like an entire other class, like level 75 warrior attacking you.
And not doing any DPS. And it also allowed Death
Yeah,
Knight
stun?
to just
Yeah, I think
change
it did.
mechanics which would normally kill the Ray. Because they can come back as ghouls and help out anyway.
Yep.
It also worked in arenas for some reason. Where Death
For
Knights
some
were already
reason.
the most powerful
Get
class
wrecked.
ever added to the game.
Yeah.
And if you did manage to kill the overpowered early Wrath Death Knight, they came back as a ghoul for 45 seconds to finish you off anyway.
Yep.
So, the ability was very powerful, so they actually nerfed it in mid-patch to reduce the duration
Yep.
from 45 seconds to 25 seconds.
4,
Before then
6.
just removing the ability with the first major patch in
Yeah,
3.1.
they took it out. So
They also nerfed a whole bunch of the other Death Knight abilities because they were very overpowered in early rounds. But most of the abilities still stayed in the game in just nerfed versions. Shadow of Death was one of the ones that was just straight up removed rather than trying to balance out an ability.
See, I thought it was a cool ability. Like, the thing is, like, Blizzard put it in the game because it sounded really cool. Like, early Wrath of the Lich King Death Knights were a badass class to play. They were a really fun class to play. All things considered, definitely a fun class to play. But it was just too overpowered, man. It was just too broken. Like, it's one of those things, like, it sounds really cool, and it is really cool, like, in a vacuum, but, like, whenever other classes don't have the abilities to counter it, there's just nothing you can do.
Allowed them to self-res every time they died.
True hero
without an
class? Yeah, they
incredible
certainly were.
reincarnation. So, for being in the game for only one patch and being removed for being powerful,
Yep.
there have been other
It was
abilities
so
that only
ridiculous.
existed in the game for a single patch that just weren't as good. This
Yeah.
is why Shadow of Death takes the number one spot on this list.
It was broken.
Alright, and that's the list. Are there any other
Absolutely
abilities that
fucking
were
broken.
super powerful and removed from the game quickly that I may have missed? If so, I'd love to hear about them down in the comments, as well as ideas for future videos just like this one. And also, did you know, fun fact, only 35.7% of people who watch these videos are subscribed to the channel?
Only 35%. Let's make it 36, sure. Sure, watch the video. Give him a like. Give him a sub. Sub to his fucking channel. It's a good video, man. It definitely was. It's like, this was fucking amazing. Like, some of these abilities were so fucking good, man. Sorry, Asmund got on click links. Oh, okay. So yeah, like, I don't know. Like, it's crazy to see, like, all the old abilities in the game. Like, I think for me, Void Tendrils,
You dealt.
I like the idea of Void Tendrils. Unleash Lightning I thought was trash, because it was just like, you can cast and move. Clash was just like, it's okay, I guess. Symbiosis I thought was really, really cool. I wish Blizzard still had that in the game. Gladiator's Resolve, like Gladiator Stance was really
What the
cool.
fuck?
I really like that. Dematerialize was
Oh, he's not-
absolute garbage. I hated this ability. It's complete skillless ability. Let's see here. The Prismatic Crystal I thought was really fun. Aspect of the Fox was just not very good. Blood Fear theoretically sounds cool, but in realistic, like, it's too fucking strong. Like, it was just way too fucking strong. And this was just fucking disgusting. Like, this was just absolutely fucking disgusting. And there's no other word that you can possibly use for it.
Our Tigers 1827 said, "Want to become famous?
Nope.
Buy followers, primes, and viewers on
I don't.
https://bit.ly/357xhc3 bigfollows.com."
I can do it. There we go. How much health? How much gold do I need again? 400. It automatically goes to Asmongold transmog by default.
So, so if I come to you right now, let's go back. You're the mortgage broker in Long Island.
I really want to like
The Imperial Diner
meet one of those guys one day.
Yeah, you go.
Of course, Tim Dillon's one of them, but
Diner in Freeport on Merrick Road.
Yeah, you say meet me at the office, and I hear you hang up.
Coffee, if I'm mistaken, look at the email.
Yeah. And when you tell me to meet you at your office, I hear the clang of a payphone when you hang up.
Yeah.
And so I meet your office. I come in. I say, hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you, Mr. Dillon. Me and my wife just got married. You know, I'm a comedian. I saved up about 80K. You know, she wants to live. We're having a baby.
Here's
She
your
wants to
Mr.
live on the
Pappas.
island.
Mr. Pop, I'm very glad.
Can I get a loan?
Not only can you get along, but let me tell you something. Yeah. How much of that 80K are you prepared to spend on the property?
I don't know, Mr. Dillon. You know, I'm a pretty conservative guy. I save every single dollar from my Maurice shows.
How much are you prepared to spend?
Hold on, let me go into Maurice.
No. Of that 80,000, how much would you like to spend? Are you willing to spend all of it?
I'm willing to spend about 60 or 70 of it.
Mr. Pappas, guess how much of that 80 you're gonna have to spend?
How much?
none of it.
Nothing.
What?
Nothing. You're not gonna spend anything. Because let me explain something to you. Sit down. The wife is lovely. Would you like a cup of coffee?
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Wait, can I
Mr.
get
Pappas.
I get pancakes from
Yeah,
you?
you can get anything. The bricks and sticks of your house.
Yeah.
Appreciate.
Huh?
The frame. The land.
Huh?
They appreciate value. You know what your money does in your house for you, Mr. Pappas? It does absolutely nothing. You know what the wealthiest people do with real estate, Mr. Pappas? A lot of them finance it. Why? Because your mortgage is your only tax write-off. It is the only write-off. It is your only fucking weapon against the federal government. The larger the loan you take, the better it is for you financially.
God.
And you take that $80,000, and I'm not wrong, by the way, and you put, well, I'm a little, and you put it in tax-exempt securities like Roth IRAs. Mr. Pappas, you maximize the amount of tax-exempt retirement accounts that you put your money in with that $80,000. You make it work for you. You do not sink it into a house. Yes or yes? So the reality is this. We're taking the biggest loan possible. That, Mr. Pappas, will set you free.
God.
Sign this piece of paper for Christ. And at that point, you and your wife are crying.
Yeah.
And then we sign papers, and you go die.
But how do you get the loan from the bank? They're giving them away.
What are we doing? We're talking about now or back in the day?
No, back in the day.
Yeah,
Back in the day, go to the bank. I said, Kelly, we got one. I said, Mr. Pappas and his wife Brittany's from Long Island. They want to go buy a piece of marble hunk of shit. And Kelly has got coke running down her nose from last night. She's got a fucking double tall non-fat latte from Starbucks, non-fat. She's not kidding anyone. And she nails it down and she says, she makes all her paperwork look like it should look. And then my little shitty bank, which was called Franklin First or New World Mortgage or the Mortgage Zone or the Funding Hut or whatever it is, we send our paper to a fucking even bigger and as similarly shitty bank like a Long Beach Mortgage or a New Century Mortgage or an Argent. And those banks were doing backdoor deals with JP Morgan, Citigroup. So those banks were underwriting the paper to the middle grade banks that were lending money to the dirtbag brokerage operating out of a van places that I work. Okay?
Right.
So when this all, you ever played a game of hot potato?
Yeah, it's an orgy. Yeah.
So when everything goes wrong,
Pass it around. Pass
when
it
past
around.
the
Damn.
yeah, by the time you sign your mortgage, by the time you get your first bill, because the other benefit, Mr. Pop, is you don't pay for 2 months.
Right.
For 2 months, you don't pay.
But are you sure I'm going to be able to afford this mortgage? My stand-up comedy career is up and down.
Mr. Pappas, I've watched your stuff. I think you're a genius.
Thank you.
And I think you're an absolute genius. And I will tell you this right now. All you have to worry about right now is What are you gonna do? With
I'm
those
just a
two?
little worried. I'm not past the cellar. Am I gonna have a future?
What are, you're gonna have a cellar in the home that we put you in. All you have to worry about as a pop is what are you gonna do with those 2 free months? Because we're rolling it into the mortgage. You've got 60 days. I would take a little vacation with this lovely lady.
Are you serious?
2
Because I was concerned I even had enough for the mortgage before this.
2 free months.
What?
Yeah, that's
Are
right.
you saying free?
What?
I have to pay at some point for this down the line.
We're rolling it into the mortgage. If you could, as a pop, take a loan every day. Every day you take a loan because the federal government is coming to take your hard-earned money. I am telling you, your ability take all your credit card debt, all your car loans, everything, student loans, roll it into this, refinance
Yeah.
it. Let's take $100,000, $200,000. Let's do it. Let's make it big. Let's do it once and do it right. That's a great line. That's a line one of our guys had. Let's do it once and do it right. And then he called them back 8 months later, and they go, "You said we were going to do it once and do it right." He goes, "Let's do it twice and do it better." But that's what we need. That's the only way the economy's going to, like, you guys can laugh at that. That's the only way the economy's going to get
20,000, 200,000.
Bullshit.
But everything you explained, none of that is criminal at all. It's just
I
wouldn't go so far as to say that. Yeah.
Well,
What's
none
criminal
of
about
it
that?
was criminal. I didn't really do the criminal shit. The criminal shit was really, and it was just I'm a pussy. It's not because of morality. The criminal shit really was, well, we did a little criminal stuff. The law. People who would know my cousin owns a car dealership on Northern Boulevard. Is going to say that I've worked there for the last 6 years and made $80,000 a year.
Right. Look the other way and go, let's prove for the mortgage.
But by the way, that's kind of soft fraud because the bank was not. It wasn't fake documents. It was literally they were accepting honor system,
Let me ask you this
which
question.
is crazy.
How did this orgy get started is my first question. My second question is,
I
when did you know it was over? And my third question is, can you compare it to Stanford? 3 questions.
When the orgy got started after, well, it started two places. It started with the Community Reinvestment Act under the Clinton administration. A lot of
That was WAD, right?
being very bad. Start with good, positive things, and like basically people were saying you got to start
Like communism.
expanding.
Like communism.
Right. You got to start expanding lending in minority communities and low-income communities. You got to expand opportunities to credit. People need to be able to finance things, get into the American system.
BFA.
That opportunities are denied by banks all the time. We need to stop that. The Community Reinvestment Act planted the seeds in the heads of Wall Street people and financial industry executives that they needed to come up with products that allowed them to lend to traditionally riskier borrowers that might have had less income, less credit, less, whatever. And so what then happened was after 9/11, the economy was in a recession, and Alan Greenspan, they cut rates, Fed cut rates, and then the party started, where it was like, hey, get in.
Let's kickstart the economy
Yeah,
by
we're
selling
gonna
some loans.
Yeah, we gotta get some houses going on, and then it was a real estate boom, a construction boom, all of these exotic financial products that allowed you to pay 1 or 2%, like a credit
So
card
that's on the way
minimum
again.
payment.
That's on the way.
Sure, some version of that will be on the way. Those financial products were then bundled up and sold to investment funds, and then we're so interconnected. What really fucked everything was like people's pensions were tied into these funds that were wrapped up with very toxic assets, which was the term, which was bad mortgages given to people that had no ability to repay them. And that's the mortgage-backed security, which was invented by a guy named Lou Ranieri, who's profiled in The Big Short. That was when they decided that mortgages should be traded and sold between banks and investment institutions like stocks. Your bank used to hold your mortgage, so early on you would go to a mortgage bank and you would have the bank. I mean, so many scenes in old movies are a guy arguing with the banker. It's been rough this month. It's the banker that gave him the mortgage. He knew the guy. It was a very localized thing. I know him. I know his farm. I've been to his farm. I know what he brings in. And then everything got very global, where like I would give you a mortgage and sell it to Giannis, and then Giannis would sell it to Pimp, and then Pimp would sell it to
That's
Schultz,
when,
and
like,
then
Chase would sell your mortgage to Fannie Mae. or
Correct.
something.
Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, or GSEs are government-sponsored entities, meaning they're not technically government-controlled, but they're government-sponsored. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are essentially why we have,
Thank you.
some stability in the mortgage market, meaning that they back the loans. They, not explicitly, but they ensure that
I was gonna do a music stream today.
they protect banks who issue these loans. And Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are, well, you know, one of the reasons you have a 30-year mortgage. You have a stability over 30 years as a financial instrument. That's kind of unheard of, and it's not common everywhere
Pretty.
in the world. It's very uncommon. I mean, a lot of places there's only 10
Pretty.
year notes. A 30-year fixed note is a financial product.
Once you work in your
This is
whole
why,
life,
like, the libertarians and stuff, where they start talking about, like, oh, the government's always been involved in everything. The government's allowed all of this to happen. So this idea that, like, you can uncouple from the government is just not realistic. It might have been, I'll give them this, it might have been better to not have the government do all of these things. Sure, academically, great. But the reality is, even just looking at the mortgage market, the reason, and the real great book, if anyone has an interest in this, is written by Bethany McLean, and it's called All the Devils Are Here. And it's about it's from a great Shakespeare play, All the Devils Are Here. Bethany McLean also wrote one of the most influential articles. She's a reporter for Fortune, and she wrote one of the most influential articles that's ever been written in finance, and it was called How Does Enron Make Its Money? And it was the first article that kind of pierced the facade of the Enron
So
Corporation.
that book, All the Devils Are Here, is about what
It's
you're
about the
saying.
mortgage crisis.
It depends on who you blame more.
Here's what it is.
Was it more predatory lending?
It's like Joan Rivers said on that episode of Louie, know when you're lucky. Know when you're lucky. There's this idea and our economy's built on this model of perpetual growth.
Right.
Everything's got to be bigger and bigger and bigger. The house has got to be
America,
bigger.
yeah.
The pool's got to be deeper. The yard has got to be bigger. The debt is going to be bigger.
You gotta know when to hand. You gotta know when to. You gotta know when to cash in.
It's the disease of more.
Right.
The disease of more. And it was those Wall Street guys weren't poor before they started slinging these things. They weren't poor. But they got, you know, in the last 10 to 15, 20 years, people in that line of work have gotten astronomically wealthy.
Sure.
A level of wealthy that most people don't understand. I'm talking about many of them are earning $1 billion in a calendar year, or over $100 million in a calendar year.
Right.
Not 30 million, not $1 million a month, not $2 million a month, not $5 million a month. We're talking in cases $20, $30 million a month. The guys at the top of those institutions, they've become so fucking like dislocated from the city. There is a real fucking problem with.
And then when things go to shit, they
It was the disease of more
they cash in,
on the side of those who were getting the
get their
loans
bonuses, and go. Start it all over again.
Correct. It's all across
Because the
board.
government does not want anything about that.
And I knew it was over when I was in a diner. In the same diner, I said to the waiter, I said, hey, my order at the diner is always mozzarella sticks. Also, I'd like a grilled cheese with turkey because I'm turning over new
And
leaf.
then I asked the waitress, "Where's the closest Carvel?"
Yeah, grilled cheese with turkey and tomato. I'm turning over new leaf. I didn't say bacon, I said turkey. Now let me ask you a question. If bacon goes in a sandwich with the turkey, coleslaw, French fries, lightly cooked. But don't burn them. Don't give me the excuse that people aren't paying attention to that. So I said to the waiter, he goes, "What are you gonna do?" I said, "I do mortgages." He goes, "What a coincidence! I do mortgages." And then the guy who was handing me my mozzarella sticks took out a card from his top pocket and put it on the diner table. And that's kind of the way I felt, about a year or a year and a half ago in comedy, when everyone you knew was a comedian.
Yeah.
The problem is
Yeah.
when everybody, it's the secret's out. It's like, you ever go to a good restaurant?
So that's when you knew it was over. When everyone was getting it.
Yeah, well, you ever
when
go
it
to
got
I'll use
oversaturated.
a food example, which I don't talk about food a lot. You go to a good restaurant, it's great. Then you cruise by it on a Saturday night, it's jammed. And you go, I hope in a year from now we don't end up going back and going, this place sucks. But a lot of times that happens. A lot of times when it's the secret place. and
The big secret places I haven't done that yet.
Everybody's
So.
in and everybody's got their hand in the trough. Then all of a sudden people start making stupid decisions. They start making bad decisions. And then people start making decisions that are nowhere near the actual decisions. Which is why communism, all these isms, don't work. is because people are making decisions from 30,000 feet
Yep.
about disciplines they have no fucking idea about how they actually work, right? So when the government just goes, hey, find a way to lend to low-income people, and Wall Street goes, we got it, the government has no idea what's about to happen.
Right.
And then the ones that kind of have an inkling just keep their mouth shut because things are good. Bush goes, 70% of Americans own homes. Trump has done nothing but extend what Obama did, which is extend what Bush did, which is essentially just tell people to put it all on a credit card. That's just the whole thing. The economy is just on a card. We'll think about it later. I mean, we owe, what is it, 20 trillion?
At
to China?
this point, it's you don't.
It's
the
fake
number,
now.
You can't even say the number anymore.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not.
They gotta think of a new word in the English language
Yeah.
to describe the amount.
The economy is just on the card. It's on layaway. It's like, you know,
How does that?
interest rates are
How
going to
does
have.
that? What happens when that culminates? Where does that end? As all things end, what happens? How do we reconcile?
I mean,
that?
inflation is where it ultimately leads to the devaluing of the dollar not being the world's reserve currency, our debt rating getting trashed to we're not a good debtor anymore.
So that means we're
Losing
over as an empire.
Yeah, AAA bond rating and all that. Yeah, that's where it leads. And then it just leads
Because
to
what you're talking about there is the actual rotting of the infrastructure of the empire.
correct. Yeah, correct.
That's
Our
inevitable.
inability to service our debt, our inability to, basically print the kind of money that we've been printing to keep everybody off the streets, which hasn't worked.
This is
Not
where
working
you become
now.
a bad earner in the mafia, and you get whacked.
You can
You
become a
get
bad
whacked.
earner. Yeah, you
we're
become a
bad
bad
earners
earner.
right now. We're bad earner. We got a lot of
It's when
debts.
somebody in a mafia movie starts looking at a picture of you from the good times with sadness in their
Yes.
face.
Yeah.
You know, they take a picture, they look at you when you guys all went to like Aruba and you went, that was fun.
He used to
That's
earn-
where
he used to-
we're getting to.
He's got a lot of debts now. We don't know how to really get him out
But
of it.
I think
Well, the nameplate's going. There you go.
It could be prostitution. I think you got to legalize weed, legalize prostitution. Day one of Biden or Trump's new administration. Whores are in, weed is in. We do not have a choice. We don't have a choice.
We really hope you enjoyed that episode, whatever it was about. This is just a stock thing that we're taping onto every episode. So, go, make sure you rate, review us, subscribe, turn on your notifications, get jiggy with it.
And go to patreon.com/BayRidgeBoys where things get really wild.
Okay.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another...
I like how thunderclap is just like a explosion.
I love Halloween. I've always liked Halloween. I like it because it's about simulated horror. And I think simulated horror is a nice way to get away from actual horror. When actual horror happens from November 1st all the way to October 30th. And then one day everyone goes, let's pretend that we're scared. Let's find things to scare us. Boo. Like haunted houses and scary movies. But the other 364 days are filled with very real, verifiable accounts of nightmarish behavior that by the very grace of God and sheer luck you don't find yourself embroiled in. It's hard to enjoy movies like Hostel because I used to think they were fake. I can't enjoy them anymore as much because I guarantee you there is a place in Bratislava where you can take a drill and go through some tourist eye. And if there isn't, there should be. Because if there's not, you're leaving a lot of money on the goddamn table. You can't enjoy Texas Chainsaw Massacre anymore. Why? Because now you don't see Leatherface as someone scary. You see him as somebody that runs for the Senate. How can you enjoy a horror film? It's better. Jason, Freddy Krueger, these people are all better than the people who run the country. They've all done less killing. They've all done less killing than our leaders. How do you enjoy a horror movie? House of 1,000 Corpses? How nice it would be if there were only 1,000 corpses. Do you know how many of these third world countries would go, you only killed 1,000 of us? They'd be dancing in the street with American flags on right now.
1,000 Corpses is Tuesday morning before you have fucking lunch. How can you enjoy a horror movie now? It's hard. It's difficult. When you know the actual shit that goes on. If Leatherface was around today, he'd be running a major Facebook QAnon account that just got shut down. And he'd come out and say they shouldn't have shut me down. And I kind of agree with Leatherface. I think he's got crazy ideas, but I agree with Leatherface. And then he'd mount a campaign for, local Congress or something. What are your favorite scary movies, favorite Halloween movies?
Favorite Halloween movie, off the top of my head, Hocus Pocus. I watched it when I was a kid.
Very gay. Hocus Pocus. Now, Ben has a wife, and I hope she's not in therapy in years from now. Hocus Pocus is a gay, iconic movie. I like it. It's very gay. It's Bette Midler and
I'm aware it's gay.
Kathy Najimy, who is the similarities, who's brilliant, and Sarah Jessica Parker, and it's a very gay, fun movie, and I enjoy that too. It's not really a horror movie.
Right. Favorite
It's
horror movie?
scary. Here's why Hocus Pocus is legitimately scary. Everybody in the movie is white. That terrifies me. That they would have such a lack of concern for diverse. Was there one disabled person? Was there one person going through a transition in the film? No, thank you. Was there one Black Panther in the movie? No good. I like a movie called Jacob's Ladder with Tim Robbins and the guy. Phenomenal film. And Danny Aiello.
Right.
Someone said, and they were right. They were like, Danny Aiello's face is on in every pizzeria in Manhattan. If you've ever been in New York, the celebrity, like pizzerias put the celebrities that have eaten there on the wall, and Danny Aiello is in like more of them than anyone else. This is oh my God, does he look bad? He looks oh Jesus. Is he still alive? I like Danny Aiello.
No, he died in December 12th, 2019.
Sad. He's great. Well, anyway.
Yeah, Jacob's Ladder, yeah, great.
And it's about a guy that went to Vietnam. And this is why I like it, because there's a little bit of a backstory. It was about a guy that went to Vietnam, and the government experimented, very similar to Agent Orange. They experimented with this drug called the Ladder, which made American servicemen more vicious. And they in the movie they explained that we were not convinced that we could win Vietnam because our boys were soft. We needed them to be more vicious. So we needed to unlock the real nightmares inside of them.
That doesn't make any sense at all.
The Ladder, it's a
Like,
cool
you don't want to kill your own people, so why would you just make them crazy?
Like, there's this great quote in it that I like. Danny Aiello, Demons quote. Jacob's Ladder, Demons quote. Demons and Angels quote. It's kind of a fun little quote. Demons are really angels. Yeah, that's the quote. This is a fun movie, by the way. Many couples, I see many couples come out to the shows, and I like that. I like that. My fan base is primarily heterosexual, but at least many of them are coupled up. It's good to do something every night and not have one person that potentially will like me ever. So I enjoy that. It's nice. You know, straight guys do comedy. People message them, hey, it was great. You want to have a drink? You know what I mean? People message me, hey, look at this pizza menu in Omaha. Do you think the S is really a... Jacob Black, this is a quote I like. If you're afraid of dying and you're holding on, you'll see devils tearing your life away. But if you've made your peace, then the devils are really angels freeing you from the world. It all depends on how you look at it. But Danny Aiello does the quote. So Danny Aiello's like, if you made your peace, the devils are really angels. Free you from the world. He's got a garlic knot falling out of his mouth. It all depends on how you look at it. You see? I enjoy that film. I like a lot of the Rob Zombie movies. Devil's Rejects, which is a movie about comedians.
Okay. After this, I'm
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome
going to get back on at tomorrow at 7. Oh, wait. Today at 10 p.m. for music
intended
time.
For the Patreon that we do an extra episode every week on Patreon for $5 a month. And this one was just really wild. You know, I had a little.
Most popular healer class is probably gonna be Druid.
Hello guys, welcome to my new video, and today I'll be looking at the healer or the most popular healers for the pre-patch and basically making my predictions and shoutouts. And this video is mainly spurred on by the latest Wowhead article that I checked out a couple of days ago, and honestly I was really intrigued by it because I feel it really fed into my theories of classes that become popular are not always the classes that are the best, but the classes that get hyped up during new expansion launches. So let's go and have
Fuck, I didn't know there was a
this
boss.
chart. And this is looking at data from bench.me. Again, you have to remember, there's a lot of different tools out there. You have Rated.io, you have workout logs. There's a lot of metrics to compare what healer is popular, to compare what healer is going to be strong, or make educated guesses at what healer is going to be in the meta. This video, again, big disclaimer guys, pre-patch does not indicate the healer's performance in Shadow. I just mainly want to showcase that a lot of information or a lot of hype has been aimed towards Discipline Priest, and all of a sudden from being the least popular healer in a plus 15 keys in BFA Season 4, it has jumped to the second most popular healer. And I feel there's a lot of reasons for that, and I feel this pre-patch popularity
Resto, yeah.
is going to carry into Shadow. A lot of the times people might say that popularity equals the performance. So as the most popular class is going to be the best class, and to a lot of extent it is true. A lot of the times the most popular classes in, let's say, 25 keys are going to be Restoration Druid. They fell from 56% to 41%, but they're still very, very popular. And this is what a lot of creators were saying, and again, you have to keep in mind, this is pre-patch data, but I feel a lot of this data might actually follow into Shadow. And why? Why is this increase so popular all of a sudden? Because a lot of people hyped up this increase, including myself. Discipline is getting some really cool new abilities with things like Mind Blast. They have better ways of, you know, approaching different damage patterns with talents like Shadow Covenant. There's a lot of things that make Discipline a lot more intriguing, especially how they deal with bursting and Master Spell. Again guys, if you're doing bursting right now, how good is Master Spell? All of a sudden some of the weaknesses of Discipline Priest or Priest in general have been fixed to some extent. One of the reasons in my opinion that Priest is also very popular because Shadow Priests have been completely reworked. A lot of people have very positive things to say about Shadow Priest. A lot of people might rank Shadow Priest as being very strong both in pre-patch and in Shadowlands itself. So all of a sudden, my indication from all of this data right here in terms of performance in Mythic plus 15s and Mythic plus 25s in pre-patch, I feel Priest is going to be the most hyped up healer coming into Shadowlands. I feel there's going to be a lot of Priests. I feel there's going to be a lot of Priests that are gonna try out Discipline. If they don't like the Discipline or the preemptive style of Discipline, they're gonna go to the more reactive style of Holy Priest. I feel if they want to have a good off-spec, they're gonna try out Shadow Priest. And again, with this, the community perception is going to change. Again, this is the biggest thing. Community perception exists. Even for lower keys, people might not invite certain classes because they don't feel the meta. At the very start of an expansion,
Gold.
people are going to be plus 15 is going to be legitimately very, very difficult to do.
Warforged.
And people will try to increase their chances by inviting classes that they perceive to be the best. Do I support that view? Not really. So that's why I want to approach community perception. I think Priest community perception is going to rise through the roof. I think the performance and rates are going to be solid, and I think Priest performance in Mythic Plus is going to be also very comparable. Another healer that I feel is going to gain a lot of attention is going to be Restoration Shaman. And as many of you may know, I'm going to be
Resto.
Shaman in Raid Situation. Now the reason why
Resto,
it's not because they got a whole lot of changes, because they really did. A lot of the things is like mana.
We should bring Tree back as a pop.
Extra utility. In terms of covenants, again, I really like the Necrolord covenant and I really enjoy the playstyle of it. But the reason they're so popular is because the utility. They're going to most
Alchemy is getting big too because of the elixir prices are going to go up through the roof too because of the hopefully the power of them.
Wave as a good way of doing AoE splash healing when people are spread. So Resto Shaman utility and their HPS at this point in the game is very
So the 30-minute raid fight you'll have.
going to give them the best
3 elections per run
getting
if you
invited.
kill it.
Raids and Resto Shaman is probably one of the best options right now, where a lot of content creators are talking about, hey, what's the most optimal meta for Shadowlands, or what do you think is going to be the predictions for most optimal meta in Castle Nachia? They might tell you 2 Resto Shaman. And in Mythic Plus, I feel the difference between Resto Shamans, or the best healer in Mythic Plus and the worst healer, is not that big. Resto Shaman Earth Shield buffs have been pretty substantial, and you have to look at their single tag healing in terms of the Earth Shield buffs. And I feel Resto Shaman is really fun, and again,
It's fun in PvP.
Priest in general, I think it's
Really useful in epics because of Chain Hill and Rain.
and it's going to improve immensely.
Healing
The
Rain.
healers that have fallen a lot is going to be Holy Paladin, mainly because there's been some scary changes. My personal opinion is that Holy Paladin is still very full healer. Maybe it needs certain buffs in Shadowlands itself, but it's doing really well in pre-patch. One of the main reasons they're doing pretty well in pre-patch, you can see from this graph. 15 levels, or plus 15 Mythic Keystone, they're not very popular. There's far more Resto Druids, there's far more Priests, there's far more Resto Shamans. And the Holy Paladin is not popular, but once you go to higher Keystone level, you'll see that Paladins become bigger and bigger by the curvature of this graph. Now, the reasons for this is that, quite frankly, some of the Azadite trades for Holy Paladin are just completely. You can see that one of the highest keys, plus 34, was done by a Holy Paladin. You can see that that Holy Paladin is running triple Light's Decrees. Light's Decree is an insane amount of damage, and it's also not even running Glimmer of Light trades. Probably the most popular build right now is triple Light's Decrees with 2 Glimmer of Light trades. Glimmer of Light does scale with Glimmer of Light talent. Keep that in mind. But this can showcase that Holy Paladin, at least on the
What the hell is that?
is not popular, but it's actually doing quite well in high keys. What does that
Y'all
mean in
knew.
Shadowlands, on how could that be interpreted in Shadowlands? Generally speaking, a lot of people are scared. Holy Power is back. There is uncertainty about range build that's emerging with Holy Light spam because of certain conduits and certain legendaries. There's also a lot of uncertainty about Crusader Strike mana cost. There is just too much concerns in terms of what's gonna happen to Holy Paladin, and I feel Holy Paladin is losing extreme amount of popularity at this given point from being the second most popular healer in plus 15 keys. They're dropping immense. You can see
Holy
it
Pally.
here. I feel this is going to continue until
Mistweaver
Blizzard decides on, hey,
was
we want Holy Paladins to go
second to
range,
last.
or we want Holy Paladins to go melee, or we want Holy Paladins to make a decision because those two builds are very, very close together in terms of HPS performance or utility. I feel that's what people are waiting for, and guys, let me know how you feel about Holy Paladin, because Holy Paladin, I feel this loss in popularity is going to continue into Shadowlands. My personal prediction is that Holy Paladins are going to get a buff in terms of HPS, they're going to perform really well in Shadowlands, raids, things like that, but that's a prediction. Blizzard is relatively hard to predict sometimes. And now let's finish the video with the last couple of heroes.
All the time.
Their popularity, and are they falling, are they doing well? And
It's whether they will or will not listen.
Resto Druids still the most popular healers in Mythic.
Why?
Quite frankly, this is what a lot of content creators were saying.
Fuck.
A lot of beta testers were saying. Resto Druid still has a lot of utility. Resto Druid is still very, very strong, both in pre-patch and in Shadowlands content. Now, in terms of raid performance, I don't want to show this chart too much because this is the pre-patch raid logs or mythic logs, and you can see Resto Druid is still relatively popular healer in terms of parses, but keep in mind this is very irrelevant. I don't think Resto Druid is nearly as popular as it is in Mythic Plus when it comes to raiding. I think Resto Druid's raid performance, I think raids are going to be looking for healers, but they might not necessarily be like, hey, we
Is
need
there any-
Druid for our raid composition. So keep that in mind, my early prediction. In terms
Do-do-do.
of Mystery
Where did
Raids,
it go?
there's very few changes in
That
the
way.
popularity both in Mythic 15s and 25s, and I feel the same thing is going to follow in Shadowlands, because quite frankly, Mistweavers were relatively untouched until the very end. There's a lot of community backlash in terms of the lack of changes, because I think a lot of Mistweavers wanted a complete rework. They did get certain, I can't bash Blizzard all the time. Blizzard did approach certain talents and they made them work with mastery, which is what a lot of people wanted. But there is a lot of bugs.
Do you want to though?
Very scary. Again, with the Mistweaver, you have the same kind of deal as a Holy Paladin. Are they going to be melee? Are they going to be using Fist Weaving? Are they going to be using Rising Mist? Or are they going to be using something like Upwelling built in raids where you just stand in
Raid check.
what is going to be the most optimal build in raid situations? Because in raids, you can go either way. In Mythic Plus, I'm still going to say that it's going to be Fist Weaving, it's going to be Rising Mist, because you want to deal damage as a healer in Mythic Plus. during your downtime. And if you even look at the raid performance, you'll notice that Mistweavers are actually the least popular healers by quite a large margin, which you can go back in previous matches and it's going to be the same thing. Generally speaking, I want to say that Mistweaver is probably the least played healer, and because of this, maybe
What, a
Mistweaver
Stormwind?
doesn't have the same
No.
resources allocated to
Wait, what?
patch changes. I don't know. This is just a thing.
Oh, this is right above it. Wow.
Again, Mistweaver I feel is a fun class,
Cool.
but there is certain
I've never done
the
this
last
before.
healer in terms of
Touched it
line is
before.
Holy Priest. In mythical scenarios, it's very different in raids because I feel Holy Priest in raids is a lot more. It's
Final
more
life
healing, can do good
grades,
DPS, and it appeals to a lot of
if not
mythic
tanks,
or
final
entry-level mythic
life.
raiders and heroic raiders where maybe they'll be looking for the best HPS. And Holy Priest can definitely be one of those
Final life?
type of healers.
Where'd it
Keep
go?
in mind, I felt that their popularity should have risen in pre-patch in terms of their mythicalist performance. You have a lot more damaging abilities. Holy Priest, I was expecting a bit more of a rise, but I guess a lot of the priests in general, if they're doing mythicalist content, they're just going to be trying out this new priest because it received far more impactful gameplay changing alterations than a Holy Priest did. So it kind of makes sense. And I feel that's going to follow in Shadowlands, and I would definitely not be too discouraged by playing Holy Priest in Shadowlands. I feel Holy Priest mythicalist community perception is going to be a bit better because it did receive certain changes that should impact their performance. But at the same time, I also feel too many people concentrate on what the top 1% chooses in terms of their classes. Because generally speaking, this game is far more casual than most people realize. If you did the Keystone achievement in BFA before the pre-patch, you were probably in the top 10% of the player base. Which basically means that the top 1% is kind of manipulating what the rest of the 99% of player base is going to choose. And Holy Priest is going to be more than decent choice, both in Mythic Plus and Raid, and your choice might be impacted only when you're trying to do those really, really high keys. So the general summary of the video, a lot of the things that I kind of expected did happen. You saw a big rise in this increase, you saw a big rise in resto channels, both in Mythic Plus and Raid situations. I feel their community
Where's
is
Final
going
Life?
to only get better over time. There was a big decline in Holy Paladins because of uncertainty. Where is Holy Paladin going? Is it going to be ranged?
Okay,
You
you have to
saw some
call them.
classes staying in the same position like Mistweavers and Holy Priest because, quite frankly, there is not a whole lot of things happening here, or maybe the changes are a little bit too late. There's still too many bugs going on here, especially Mistweaver Monk. But I really want to hear your opinions about this. I really want to hear what class you're going to be playing in Shadowlands. Have you tested these classes out in pre-patch, and has this testing influenced your main decision for Shadowlands? Let me know how you feel about this video, and I'll see you in the next.
Repair time. Resta Druid. Druid. Is it Druid or Druid? I just call it Druid. Druid.
Hello everyone, Nutkex here, and in today's video we're looking at our final Druid spec here on the Shadowlands. Beta, it's the Restoration Druid. So yeah, of course you want to see those other Druid specs, they're already up on the channel, and we've covered all the other classes except for Rogue, so check all of those out. Of course Rogue is going to be coming in the next few days if you want to see that. But without any further ado, let's just dive right in and let's check out the rest of it. Alright, and here we are in game, everyone. As always, we're going to begin the video by looking at the baseline rotation, the basic gameplay of the spec, in this case the Resto Druid. Then after that, we'll do the section on what the new abilities for Resto are and the reworked abilities, talents,
So yeah, that's enough.
all that good stuff. Find the timestamps in the description and on the timeline and all of that. So, Resto Druid, this is the final healer that we're looking at, the last one, the very last one. And the Resto Druid is really all about healing over time. That's how you're going to make stuff work. I'm going to point
Yep.
towards our mastery action to start us all, right? Where your mastery is going to increase the healing of all of your heal over time effects from Restoration by, again, in this terrible gear, this awful gear, it's going to give me 7% more healing for every heal over time that I put on target with my Resto spell. So the more heal over time that you stack up, the more you get out of it. Our heal over time, I guess one of the most important ones, we've got Rejuvenation. They're all important, but Rejuvenation,
I like
so this
the one.
is instant cast. Cast on the move, it's going to heal for 1,800 over 15 seconds.
I knew all of them already.
That costs 1,100 mana. We've got this for Spamble,
Alright.
Heal equivalent, which is Regrowth, where you're going to heal a friendly target for 1,800 and another 500 health over 12 seconds. And the initial heal will have a 40% increased chance to do a crit if the target is already affected by the regrowth heal over time. So that sort of benefits you for spamming regrowth onto these We have another heal over time then called Life Blue. You can only have one of these out at a time, only on one target. It's going to heal the target for about 2,300 over 15 seconds, and when it expires, or when it's dispelled, or if you refresh it in the pandemic window, it will instantly heal the target for 1,200 as well. So this is our strongest heal over time. We can only have one out, so most of the time keep it rolling on your tank, I guess. For our AoE healing, then we also obviously you can multi-hot with your heals. We have Efflorescence for 1,700 mana. You will grow a healing blossom on the target location, restoring 252 health to 3 injured allies within 10 yards every 1.8 seconds for 30 seconds. You can only have one of these out at a time. That's the Efflorescence. Sorry, this is the Rejuvenation.
Ekagon, Nazachar.
And this is Life Bloom. All the green effects, right? And then another AoE heal is Wild Growth. This has a 10 second cooldown, costs 2,200 mana, so it's expensive, and 1.5 second cast by haste. It will heal up to 6 injured allies within 30 yards of the target for 1,200. Well, okay, it just went down because of course our mastery is dropping. Hang on there, get rid of this. It will heal all
War campaign.
injured allies. Okay, that has 6 injured allies.
Steven?
Hey.
1,000.
Hey, you just gonna make yourself a pizza later or something?
Sure.
Okay.
See
you later.
Yeah.
Next up, Scott.
Another crucial heal that we have to serve our nuke heal is Swiftman, okay?
Having a new class is really a bummer, though. Or not having a new class is really a bummer.
So of course it's going to heal for way more than any of those
Cloth class
and that's going to be
with
that big nuke of direct healing. And yeah, I mean that's
all
just
three
very, very core
rolls.
healing kit as the rest of Druid. So typically speaking, you're going to keep Life Bloom always up, usually on the tank. If your team are going to be taking some light damage, you can possibly use on them. If there's going to be lots of AoE damage going out, you can start throwing out the Wild Growth as well. You'll usually keep Efflorescence running, again, usually under
No one even actually trades on Dre anymore.
spam healing, you can start spamming out regrowths.
Level 36.
More, and the more hots that you stack up on the same person, the more it's going to heal them for. Another couple of bits then that obviously tie into that very, very core rotation. Let's look at the sort of healing cooldowns first, then we'll look at the damage stuff after. So for healing cooldowns, Iron Bark, this is your external, it's now 1.5 cooldown. You will reduce the damage the target takes by 20% for 12 seconds, and it also increases the effectiveness of your heals on that target, your heal over time effect on that target by 20% for 12 seconds. So it's the best tank external.
What's this?
It's a really short cooldown.
Oh, it's this base.
And the bonus healing over time effect is really nice as well. Tranquility, this is your big raid cooldown. You'll channel for 7.4 seconds. You'll heal all allies within 40 yards for 3,200 health. And each heal will also stack a heal over time, and that heal over time will stack up and up and up.
Cool. What does that go to?
You're not in a raid, so this will do a lot more
Just for
healing in
show.
the party, which is awesome. You can see the heal over time. You're stacking up, stacking up, stacking up. And obviously these heal over time.
What does that do?
All the healing will be more powerful based off of, again, the mastery, right? The more mastery effects you have out, the more powerful this will be. Blah, blah. You also have innervates, which you can infuse friendly healer with energy. So you can put
Orbios.
there's a new effect
Ashran.
section that makes you want to do that. But at least if you're a solo in a party, you
Zuna.
GCD, however, it will give you effectively use it on yourself. It's like roughly 10 seconds of mana to respell, so you can spam your card out and not run out of mana, which is cool. And yeah,
J
right,
Forest.
other core things that actually, there's I'll cover nature's
Chat.
and what's new sections. That is totally
Carrots of time.
for core damage spells, you've got Moonfire, which is a single target damage over time effect. You've got Sunfire, which is an AoE damage over time effect with a short duration. And then you can spam with Wrath, which is just going to do some single target damage. And then obviously you can shift into Bear Form, where you will have Mangle, which is single target damage, generate some rage, and you'll be much tankier in Bear Form. Tooltip. You also have access to Iron Fur, get some armor. Cat Form for some more damage. There's more spells here than there should be, so I'm in Feral Affinity. I think by default you have Shred, which is like
Rested.
Shred, Ferocious Bite, and Dash, so big movement.
Whoa, that's a lot of stuff. Can I fly here? Yeah. Got some stuff, then I'll go ahead and head out.
You have a Battle Res, which is wonderful. You do have
Alright.
Resto Druid, you put down a Vortex of Wind, it will slow enemies by 50% in the area, and the first time they try to leave the Vortex, it sucks them back into the center, so that's good. Of course, you have normal ways and a group red. And you can dispel magic, curse, and poison effects. Lots of spells, and what effects. So you can also soothe, so you can dispel rage effects, purge and rage effects offensively. And yeah, you also can spam Entangling Roots. And then I think the rest of the stuff is new. Oh, your main defensive for you, is Bark Skin. You take 20% less damage for 12 seconds on a 1 minute cooldown. That's your personal defensive. Hibernate. But enemy beats the ground, get to sleep. I think that's everything. Quite a lot of little tools here in your toolkit. See travel form as well. Lots of little tools. Very fun. All about those heal over time. That's the Resto Druid. Alright, well, what spells are new for the Resto Druid, and what baseline spells have been reworked here in the Shadowlands? Well, the first thing, coming from your PvP talent, this is now a baseline spell. It's Cyclone. 1.6 second cast. No cooldown on this whatsoever, only a 20-yard range though, but you toss the enemy target into the air, disorienting them, but
Underclap rank 2.
for up to 6 seconds, and only one target can be affected by your Cyclone at a time. So if you played any PvP at all, ever, in WoW, you'll probably be familiar with Druid cycloning you. This is now a baseline thing. So wonderful to bring that into PvE. It may not be useful all the time, but certainly this could be something you could throw out to, you know, if there's a dangerous mob, you can stop them. You can probably stop mobs bolstering with this in Mythic Plus, which could be even more utility for Resto Druid, which is insane. You could, in an emergency, use it to interrupt spellcast on a mob in Mythic Plus. Again, if something enrages, like let's say there's 2 mobs that enrage and your tank is in serious danger, you can soothe one of them and cyclone the other one, cyclone it again after that fire. That's obviously going to soothe it when it comes out.
I think Prot is doing good
Some certain definitely plays that can be made
with the holy power change.
Swiftness also returns as a baseline spell. 1 minute cooldown, instant cast off the G speed. Your next regrowth, rebirth, or entangling roots is instant, free, and castable in all forms, and will heal for an additional 100%. So, I mean, most of the time, I suspect you'll use this for just this a really beefy instant cast regrowth, which is going to do a ton of healing. But it's also nice that you can use it for instant entangling roots. Maybe more of a PvP thing, I suspect. And you could use it for instant rebirth. So that could be useful in an emergency. Your tank goes down, Nature Swiftness rebirth, get that tank up insta, and hopefully save the soul. So kind of cool right there. And
There it is.
It's crazy that they're giving more. I can't believe they're giving more utility to Resto Druid, the king of Mythic Plus, the best healer for Mythic Plus or BFA. But they're doing it. Stampeding Roar is baseline now as well for you, coming from the Guardian and Feral Druids, because why give them unique utility when it can go to the Resto Druid instead? 2 minute cooldown, let loose a Wild Roar, increasing the movement speed of all friendly players within 15 yards by 60% for 8 seconds. So that's going to be really nice in Mythic Plus. Skip around the place.
Alright, now I should go back to...
The raid, so fair enough for the Resto Druid. Not, you know, the top healer in raids in BFAs, for example. So that's a nice little bit of extra utility.
Okay, so undo the missions.
Got a couple of tweaks to your existing spells. The first one is Iron Bark in BFA. This was a 1 minute cooldown that gave 20% damage. 1.5 minutes. Baked in a old talent here, which is going to increase your heal over time effects on the target by 20%, while Iron Bark is up for the 12 seconds. So I think this is actually kind of nice. You know, it's a nerf in the way with the cooldown increase, but it's also a buff and the heal over time effect benefit now as well. So I think you can take it or leave it. I'm not sure whether you can overall buff or nerf. I might even lean towards thinking it's something of a buff. It's still a really good tank external. It's still the shortest, basically, tank external. I guess you have like Holy Priest with the right talents can get their Guardian Angel down to I think about like 1 minute,
Alright.
10 seconds, 12 seconds or so. But I mean, it's a really low cooldown tank external. It's probably enough to keep them safe, and the extra healing you're going to get out of it, I think it's still really strong. So I don't think
What to do?
and then Swiftmend has been reworked.
Oh, yeah.
There it is, Swiftmend. So I
Town
think
center.
Swiftmend is very cheap. It's like half the cost of a regrowth. But what it does now has a 15-second cooldown. That's down from 25 seconds. It will now consume a regrowth, wild growth, or rejuvenation heal over time to instantly heal an ally for 3,740 health, again at this particular tier level. So this is essentially a massive single target nuke heal. It heals for a substantial chunk more than it did in BFA and has a much lower cooldown.
What?
Obviously, you know, it's a relatively short heal over time, only for 7 seconds, so if you can do that, not too bad. Like, you throw out the Wild Growth and then snipe someone with a Swift Mend a second or two later if your party's in danger, and it's pretty nice. So, yeah, it's good. It won't consume life bloom, so that's good. You don't have to worry about that. It won't consume, like, Scenario Ward if you take that or anything. I think it's good. I think it's good. Very satisfying to press, and yeah, with it being a shorter cooldown, that's another really great thing to add to the healing toolkit.
Damn it.
It's worth mentioning that your basic spell
Oh. Send on jungle. Saber Stalker's Honor.
Iron Fur is default for the bear, and for the kitty cat.
Jesus, how many of them are there?
That's why I've got all these abilities, but you now have
Friend of the Exarchs.
Bite are the default for the cat. Okay, so that's your default for the
Oh,
cat.
shit.
Look at the actual affinity. Sorry, my nose is itchy. In just a second here. First, we have to cover the leveling perks. So actually, believe it or not, Resto Druids get 5 leveling perks. Most other classes get 4 when at 52, 54, 56, and 58. For whatever reason, they decided Resto Druid's going to get
Warriors
2
and
perks
Rogues.
at 52, nothing at 54, 2 perks at 56.
Dying Wish, Saldar, King of
That might
Thorns.
slightly change before this goes live, but right now that's how it's working. The first thing you're getting is Regrowth Rank 2. This is
Flame on.
a big change to how your regrowth is going to work, I guess, where your initial heal for regrowth is going to have a 10% increased chance to crit if the target is already affected by regrowth. So this is really going to encourage you to spam regrowth on a particular target. Once they have the heal over time, the actual direct heal becomes a lot more powerful, so it's going to reward you for some of that sort of spammy single target healing. That's nice. Interface getting a rank 2 at level 52 as well, where you will infuse a bit. So you can use this obviously to infuse yourself or infuse an ally. The new benefit at level 52 is rank 2, where if you cast this on somebody else, you will gain Innervate at 50% effectiveness. So essentially, you give your friendly healer 0 mana cost in all of their spells for 12 seconds, and you'll get half mana cost in all of their spells for 12 seconds. It's kind of a win-win. Basically means that in the raid, you're always kind of interfacing.
Alright, thanks for coming in. I'll be back on at 10 p.m.